or at least this was in somewhere over in England. But she picked up a prank scratch-off card that said he won $100,000 and then gave it to him. And then he got all excited, started running around and having a really good time. And then she was like, she said he was sweating, he was trembling, he couldn't believe his luck, and we had to tell him it was fake.
Oh,
and he nearly quit the job.
I would too.
Don't prank anybody like that. That's not a prank. That's
cool.
Just mean. It's just mean. All right, we're out of here for the day. Reminder, coming up in about 20 minutes, 3:15, Kevin Schnall joins Jay and Terry. We'll be out at Cobblestone Golf Club tomorrow. Birdies with Beamer. We'll talk to you from there. Take care. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air, where if you have stepped outside in recent days, if you've just been outside, well, you're pretty doggone aware that it's hot. However, if your air conditioning is working great on the inside, there's no real reason to go outside. I just don't see a reason in it. So at AAA Heating and Air, I trust them. They came out to the house several years ago, put in a brand new heating and air unit, and now there's no reason for me to go outside and deal with the gnats, the heat, the humidity, everything, because it works beautifully keeping the Gunner household nice and cool, even on those triple-digit temperature days. So call them yourself, 803-677-1500, or get in touch with them. Check out all the great stuff they have on their web. Call AAAtoday.com. That's the website. Call AAAtoday.com. 15-year parts and labor warranty, 12 months, no interest or payments, and guaranteed financing. You want to get in touch with AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
3 o'clock on a Wednesday. Welcome aboard the Postgame Show alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Thank you so much for being with us. Lots to get to on today's program coming up shortly. And by shortly, 15 minutes or so. Kevin Schnall will be with us, Gamecock head baseball coach. Captain Dave's all ready to go somewhere. He's got his sunglasses on inside. He's like Corey Hart. Dave wears his sunglasses at night, or in this case, in the building.
Almost got the feel also of like Matrix.
Or the Blues Brothers.
Little blue. I could see Dave being the third Blues Brothers with Belushi and
Sure.
Aykroyd.
What will we call him? Let's see. There's Joliet, Jake, Elwood, and we need something alliterative. Davenport Dave. That's in Iowa.
Ooh, that's kind of
close.
It's not bad.
To Illinois.
I like a Davenport Dave.
All right.
Let's see.
Any neighborhoods in Chicago that begin with D?
I'm thinking of like D words because I worked in Wisconsin for 2 years. I'm trying to think of some besides Davenport because Davenport was a good one.
Thank you. But again, that's Iowa.
Well, yeah, but the people in Chicago look at Iowa as a suburb of Chicago anyway. The people who live in Chicago think the whole Midwest is a suburb of Chicago.
Well, it's just like people in Manhattan.
Oh, sure, everything's a suburb of New York.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When you think I'm bad. Mm-hmm. But people that live in Manhattan, like if they, other than to go to a Yankee game, like if they have to go to another borough,
I know.
Other than a Yankee game or the airport, why am I leaving this island?
Those folks are going nowhere.
Yeah,
but they got everything. But that's what they say. They go, why should we leave here? Everything's here.
Everything's there, and that's kind of true. But anyway, so Kevin Schnall coming up. We are keeping our eyes on whatever may be happening today. In Washington, I don't know. I don't know if it was senators or staffers or a combination. Late yesterday afternoon, that put a 9 a.m. deadline this morning. So that's now been hours ago, 6 hours ago. That the SEC and Big Ten had in order to get on board with the Protect College Sports Act, and okay, if they don't call you by 9 a.m., what happens? Are you gonna go ahead with the language because you didn't send them the language, or if they, or you're gonna, it's on hold, and then you're gonna tell them, well, you're not gonna get a bill. I don't really know what the deadline was supposed to accomplish, but to have two men, Tony Petitti, Greg Sankey, attempt to get 34 men and women, the presidents and chancellors of their respective conferences, to all agree, basically late afternoon into dinner time, and then overnight, and then by 9 o'clock, hey.
That's why, to me, that was a let's go grab a megaphone and make some noise.
Yes.
And the noise was, and I can just see the folks in Capitol Hill, come up with a time.
Yeah.
Somebody, 9 a.m.? Sure. Yeah. What the hell?
And then when they don't, see?
That's the point. Look, again, you're a lot more a political guy than I am. But, you want to put the pressure on the others to do something. And then whatever they do, and doing nothing is doing something in this case.
Yes.
You're basically putting the ball in their court and putting the spotlight and the pressure on them to make a decision. And if they make the decision they're in with you, then you got what you wanted, right?
Right.
But if they don't, now you can go like this. See? Yeah. All that barking you guys have done at Capitol Hill all this time. We're doing something. We're trying to. And all of a sudden, you're not in with us. Now, you want to be in, you don't want to be in. And now you put the onus, I'm not going to say blame, but now you're turning it, right?
Well, some people will try to call it blame.
And you're saying, see, it's their fault we can't get this done.
Right.
And that's what and again, you know it a lot more than I do. But that's what I feel. That's what I feel.
That's what it is. And again, they're attempting to paint the SEC and Big Ten into a corner, not of their own making. Again, had you been consulting with them throughout the process, you don't get to some of these places. But as we have said, and we're far from below. John Wilner, I think you know John from Out West. Yeah, John had a tweet that was very similar to something we were saying yesterday on the show. I saw it this morning. That, hey, if you hadn't, basically, in so many words, if you hadn't had Cody Campbell basically helping you write this bill.
Well, he was your college athletics insider.
Right.
And that's one of those things, again, this is why this is one of the things when you start getting yourself involved with trying to get politics and politicians to help you out. Ted Cruz gets a lot of money from who, Jay?
Yeah, from Cody Campbell. And there's no doubt Cody Campbell called Ted Cruz ahead of time. Now, look, Ted, here's what I want. Mm-hmm. And then they put a bunch of that in the bill. And then they got Ms. Cantwell to do her part. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, you think we should ask the SEC and Big Ten about this?
Well, you and I said this a while back. It's like, okay, if you are going to put together a bill about college athletics, wouldn't you talk to the power brokers of the two biggest powers in college athletics?
You should.
And if you did, you wouldn't have come to these conclusions that are in this bill.
No,
some of them.
But they were Cody Campbell's, and then to some degree, again, Ms. Cantwell, who was looking out more, it seems, for Washington State than for Washington, because Washington landed on its feet rather nicely. Washington State. And look, I hate what happened to Washington State and Oregon State. And again, the Pac-12 should not have been killed. But the Big Ten killed it, and so here we are. But Cody Campbell went to Ted Cruz and said, now look, here's what we do to, quote, save college sports. And it was curb most of the activity that the SEC and Big Ten are involved in, and then let everybody else have a chance to do some things.
And catch up, basically.
And then the SEC and Big Ten were like, what? That's like telling, hey, Usain Bolt, when you get to the 80-meter mark,
slow down.
You have to stop for a half a second, and then you can start to run again. But you have to stop. You can't just slow down.
Right.
And of course, by then,
everybody's catching up.
Yeah, and it's and again, is that a great analogy? I don't know. You see the point. That's what they wanted, or rather, hey, Usain Bolt, you're going to run this 100-meter. But and let's just think there's another Usain Bolt.
Right.
Okay. There's two. You guys will have 2 hurdles each. Nobody else has a hurdle.
Right. Or you're running 125 meters.
Yeah. This is the bill. And that's what they're doing. And then before things happen, you're like, whoa, wait. Because I'm better than you and I've earned my place, you're going to just take from me or tell me I can't do anymore, that I've done enough, and that's it?
And it's not fair?
And so meanwhile, we're the ones driving this market. So, that's why it's happened. And look, some people are fine with it. I understand that. Some people are like, yeah, the SEC and Big Ten have done enough.
Well,
but I mean, what's enough in the United States? Right. And I love what Greg Sankey told you and me last week when he said 20 years ago, when we were the 3rd-rated conference in terms of revenue, we didn't go to Washington saying we need help with making money. We doubled our efforts and we became the premier conference in the country on our own. And to be fair, I do believe that college sports, at least some leadership, has attempted from within to make things better. That's why we got the Power 4 or the Power 5 or the Autonomy 5 or whatever. But Terry, they couldn't use it effectively enough, or they were thwarted too many times where that autonomy crossed into somebody. Again, stupid stuff.
Right.
Like, again, you can't have color pictures in your media guide. Right. Why? Because some schools can't afford it. Okay.
So that's my fault now?
I mean, some people can't afford a Mercedes.
Right. Does that mean I can't have a Mercedes?
Right. It's not to be elitist. It's just to say that if you can afford it, you can afford it. And you spend your money the way you see fit. And they're telling the SEC and Big Ten, no.
And I've said this before. Look, I'm a guy that when it comes to like Major League Baseball, I want a salary cap, I want a salary floor because that's 30 teams. College athletics, how many college football programs are there? How many college basketball programs are there? You can't make it even. It's almost impossible to make it even. And the way this is set up, trying to make it even can not only hurt the Big Two, but they can hurt college athletics because the Big Two really dominate college athletics.
Yeah.
And if you're going to pull them back with the hopes of propping up, and I'm not trying to be mean, Wake Forest and, Baylor, how right is that? Because, again, these two conferences are your engine that's put a lot of money in everybody's pockets. So that's why it can't be like professional sports. Because, again, those are 32 teams, 30 teams, whatever entities. Yeah. It's not hundreds of schools.
Right.
So you can't do it. And like I said to you the one day, because, I always go to you on the Capitol Hill stuff, it seems to me, watching this as just some goober, that these people put together a bill without actually stopping and going, how does this entity work?
They thought, okay, well, college leadership wants this. And so then there was a commission named, whatever, and Cody Campbell's part of it. And again, I need to learn more, so I'm going to ask this somewhat incredulously and somewhat rhetorically. Why is Randy Levine, the president of the New York Yankees, on this board? I mean, does Randy have a background in collegiate athletics? I mean, I grant you that running the New York Yankees is a hell of a job.
It might keep you a little busy.
But what, why is Randy Levine on a college sports commission? I don't understand that, unless you just want some outside voices. And if you do, okay, but here's how we do things. And, right now, I'd say the president of the New York Yankees needs to be heavily involved in trying to fix some things going on in Major League Baseball. Before
I'll give you a little background on Randy Levine.
Make it quick.
Real fast.
Make it quick.
Oh, I got to make it really quick. All right, what we got here is he was a Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General and Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General in the U.S. Department of Justice during the Reagan administration. Also, New York City's labor commissioner, a labor negotiator for Major League Baseball, and blah, 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 until he became what he is now.
Okay. So maybe he could help with labor negotiations.
But there's no labor here yet.
Not yet.
So why is he involved?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's get ready for
All right.
Kevin.
Well, we'll talk more about this as we get a few more details. We got some Gamecock basketball news to get to. But on the other side of the break, we welcome onto the program the head baseball coach at the University of South Carolina, Kevin Schnall, settling into life in Columbia, building a roster, and a whole lot more. We'll talk with Kevin when the postgame show comes back. 16 minutes after 3 o'clock on this Thursday. Welcome back. Or excuse me, Wednesday. Not rushing our lives away yet. My bad. Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. That's usually how it works.
You sure?
Well,
check your phone.
It's the summer. I don't know. Does it really matter?
Yeah.
It's a day that ends in Y. Welcome back in alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phil. I got the time right.
Yeah, that you did. And
I got
the show right.
I got the
names,
time
the
right.
Radio station.
Yeah.
You did everything except the day.
And I'll get our next guest right too.
I hope you do.
Yeah. He is Kevin Schnall. He is the new head baseball coach at the University of South Carolina, and he probably knows what day it is because although, you know what, with as busy as he's been between recruiting and moving to a new town, Coach, do you know what day it is most of the time these days?
It is Wednesday, the 29th.
Okay.
So I'm on today. But how you guys doing? I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. We're well. Thank you. Appreciate you. How has the transition really, first for the Schnalls, how has that been going for you? I mean, you didn't move that far away, but, moving to a new town is never the easiest thing.
Well, I guess it's been roughly 6 weeks we've been here, and I think the best way to say it, it's absolutely exceeded our expectations in every way. The feeling is there's no better place, no more exciting place to be than the University of South Carolina right now. And just being here and being around the community, the energy is absolutely real. The passion is unmatched. And just to be a part of it now, you can feel it. And every time we're in the community, every time that, we've got a recruit on campus and we're out to eat, you can feel it. And the people have been so welcoming, and we can't thank them enough.
All right, Coach, you've moved a few times in your life for your career, and when any of us move, there's always that one thing we all hate. What's your least favorite thing when you know you got to move? You start rolling your eyes and going, "Oh my God!" What is that?
Well, this move was tough. I just finished my 26th year coaching college baseball. 23 at Coastal Carolina, the place that gave me an opportunity to play Division I baseball, the place that awarded me my college degree, the place that kickstarted my coaching career. But for me, my wife and I had a goal 17 years ago to build a house one day. And 2 years ago, we bought a lot next to her sister, and we both built custom homes. And I give my wife credit. I mean, it's her fingerprints on the whole house, not mine, right? Mm-hmm. All I cared about was where the TV's going to go in the one room. That's it. But ultimately, I was a lot more emotionally attached to it than her. And like I said, she's the one who built the whole house. I was attached to that house. It was a goal of ours that we accomplished. We poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that place. And to pull out of that driveway for the last time, that hurt, right? That was a little bit upsetting, but, I don't look at last times very often. I look at first times, and honestly, pulling in our new driveway for the first time was awesome, right? and the family is finally here. They got here on Friday, and my wife she's an absolute mule, and I say that in the most complimentary way. She has absolutely dominated the house and is making sure it's become our home now, and I can't wait to go home to it tonight. I've been on the road the last couple of days, so I'll get home tonight, and I know that it's going to look great. So we are fired up to be here. The family's really excited to be here. Our kids are starting a new school, and they got a chance to get over to see the new school, and very complimentary of the new school. Again, welcoming is the best word to use. The new school has been very welcoming, and I know my kids are excited to get into this new journey.
Good stuff. Kevin Schnall with us, Gamecock baseball coach. As you look at the job now, a lot of people, myself included, have called this a rebuild, which is something that maybe just a couple of years ago we would not have thought South Carolina baseball needed. Does Kevin Schnall view this as a rebuild?
We don't call it a rebuild. We're calling it a recharge, re-energize. The bones of this place are special, and I reflect back when I started coaching in 2000, and as you guys know, I mean, that was the heyday. I mean, 2000 to 2012, the legendary Hall of Fame coach Ray Tanner, what the program was during that time, and it was the standard. It was the biggest, the baddest, best program in all of college baseball, 9 super regionals, 6 trips to Omaha, 2 national championships. Founders Park, just being in this place now, well, like I said, the bones are there, and it's a cool situation because we as a staff now have a chance to put our touches on some things now in the stadium and do some things in the hitting facility. The administration has been absolutely awesome throughout this. We've got a new weight room coming in November. Our locker rooms being renovated as we speak. And the whole staff, a big shout out has to go to the facility and our maintenance staff. I feel like they've been here for 30 straight days ever since we've got on campus, and these guys have worked tirelessly to put up shelving and just to do some little things to make the place more efficient for our guys when they return. And the development is the staple of our program. That's why we were so successful at Coastal for all those years, player development, and we're going to do everything possible to ensure that we have everything in line for our players to become the best baseball players they can be. And we want to make sure that the culture is right. The togetherness of our program and our players is so critical. So we need to make sure that the facility is so welcoming that these guys never want to leave, and that's what we want to develop.
Coach Kevin Schnall with us, the new head man for Carolina baseball here on the Postgame show on the game. Coach, you brought some folks with you from Coastal, obviously, players and staff, and, you had to hit the portal hard, obviously. And today everyone talks about how much harder it is to set culture when the sport, all college athletics has gotten so transient. Tell us, what is the Kevin Schnall culture he is looking to build at South Carolina moving forward?
Well, it starts with the 2 words, own it. Own it will be the center of our program. Will shape how we win, how we lose. Your culture is a set of beliefs, and those beliefs drive behaviors. Those behaviors are going to produce results, good or bad, and the culture is what we do, how we do it, and how we operate in your day. And as the head coach, I have to be the culture driver, and I can assure you that we're going to hold our players to a very high standard, and we're going to have very high expectations. And if we're going to hold our players to those standards and those expectations, it starts with me as the head coach, but our entire staff, we have to set the example. We have to model it first, and we have to be relentlessly consistent with upholding our standards first and foremost. But that's what's going to start. Like, the consistency is going to be at an all-time level, and the cornerstone of everything that we do is going to be surrounded by these 3 words: attention to detail. They're going to be the things that will separate us every day. No details too small. Everything matters. We're going to create a heightened awareness where every detail, no matter how minute, will contribute to the bigger picture, and that's been so valuable the past 25 years, 26 years in my coaching career, and so valuable in our success at Coastal Carolina. Like, how were we able to accomplish what we did at Coastal Carolina? We're fighting uphill. We're punching above our weight class. We're really confident in our ability to lift the program, our absolutes, our beliefs, our philosophies from Conway, South Carolina, and drop them here in Columbia and be able to continue to be successful. And one thing I want to make sure that is known is you're only good as the people that you surround yourself with. And I am so fortunate in Jeremiah and our athletic administration for the support that they have given us to allow us to assemble not a staff that would rival any coach staff in the entire country, the best coaching staff in the entire country. And the alignment and the synergy of our staff already has been absolutely impeccable, and I'm so fired up to be able to share a dugout with these guys.
Coach, I talk a lot about expectations around here. This is a program that does expect to be in the NCAA tournament every year. A lot of fans, every other year or so, super regionals, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm curious, I know you're not going to sit here and say, oh, listen, we're going to go win a title every year or anything like that. But how do you look at expectations? How do you set those expectations? How do you let your roster understand what it is? Is it more of just a day-by-day go do your job, or can you set larger goals and have people understand where Carolina baseball is in the hierarchy that you mentioned a little bit earlier?
This isn't coach speak. This is real life. Is dominate your one-day plans. Keep a microscopic focus. Dominate your one-day plans, and we are going to demand, have extremely high expectations, and we're going to demand it out of our players. It's going to be done with a lot of love, sometimes tough love, but ultimately we want to create an environment where winning is a byproduct of doing all the little things very well.
Coach, as we look at your philosophies and your culture as we move forward, a lot is talked about, small ball or small ball or get on base and move runners and, put the ball in play and things of that nature. And you bring in Bill Salento from Wake Forest, who gets on base a lot but also hits home runs. Offensively, what can we expect to see from South Carolina in 2027?
Listen, we want to hit home runs. I mean, small ball is not small ball. We want to be able to create an offense that can win in multiple ways. If we're facing a Friday night arm, if we're playing in a massive park, if we're playing on a rainy day, we're going to try to create a dynamic offense that can win multiple ways. If a team isn't going to be prepared to hold on the running game and control the running game, we're going to be able to steal bases. If a team can't handle the inside game, we're going to short game. We're going to try to have run scorers and run producers. We're going to have a lineup that is obsessed with getting on first base. And then, ultimately we're going to be able to do all the little things that matters, because it's all about scoring runs, and that starts with getting guys on base and understanding the value of getting on base, and part of that is also driving up pitch count. But our philosophy and our goal is we want our opponents to walk out of Founders Park thinking to themselves, wow, they just dominated us. The University of South Carolina just dominated us in every facet of the game. Their pitchers attacked the zone. Their pitchers controlled the running game. Defensively, they made unbelievable decisions. They never give you free bases. They make every play. To beat the University of South Carolina, you're going to have to beat them, because they're not going to beat themselves. And how do you do that? I mean, you just every single day at practice, the continual demands at practice every day, the expectations and standards that are set at practice every day. And then it comes back to coaching, and that's the three R's: reviewing, reminding, and repping. We got to continually review things. We got to continue to remind our players what the absolutes are, and then you got to rep it. And we're going to pride ourselves in all of those things. And again, our goal every day is when we play somebody, they walk out of here thinking to themselves, we got to get a lot better if we want to beat a team like that.
Coach, just a personal question real quick about the job and the process. I mean, obviously a long time at Coastal, playing, coaching, and then all of a sudden this opportunity comes up at South Carolina. Was it one of those things where the minute this came open and things started evolving, you were like, yes, I want to be in the mix for this job? Where there was a moment where the light bulb went on and said, yeah, that job is just too good to pass up? How did that go through your mind? Because, again, you were leaving a place that was near and dear to your heart.
Well, the good thing about the whole process was I had a great job at a place that I loved, at a place that my family loved and was very comfortable at. So when we had the initial conversation, it was very easy, if you will, because, again, I knew I had a great job. And then when I was able to get face-to-face with Jeremiah and Tyson, and they essentially opened the book, if you will, and explained to me the vision and the commitment, that's when it really hit me. And when I left that meeting, I looked my wife in the eyes and said, if we get offered this job, we have to go. And the competitiveness in you, again, we've been at Coastal for a long time, and we've had to work uphill. And the competitor in us always wanted to try to compete against the best, go nose to nose with the best with equal resources. And now we have that opportunity. And listen, we're at the University of South Carolina, I believe, at the exact perfect time. This place needs a reboot, a re-energize. And again, I'm really excited about the staff that we were able to put together. And the momentum and the excitement is really, really positive right now.
All right, we'll get you out on a couple of fun things, Coach. Real quick, you got the new house. I'm assuming you got a big grill outside somewhere. What is Kevin Schnall? What's the Kevin Schnall grill
Man,
specialty?
This is the thing about Kevin Schnall. I'm good at one thing, and that's coaching baseball. Everything else, I am subpar. I'm really fortunate to marry a girl that's the best at all of that stuff. But I can watch a burger. I can cook chicken, but that's about the extent. I'm more of a supporter.
Okay.
Like, can I carry it in?
Yeah.
What can I do? Can I get you
right?
another piece? Can I get you another piece? Can I clean the grill? I can definitely clean the grill. My go-to would be rather let's go out to dinner. Let's go out to dinner and let somebody else prepare it.
I got you. And finally, does Kevin Schnall ever wake up screaming in the middle of the night, having a bad dream about being on an aircraft and Cocky is the pilot after your introduction, the last one?
No, that was an awesome introduction. Again, the vision of the athletic department to do that and really to turn the corner and come in and see Founders Park packed the way it was on, a 95-degree evening, and it was actually a very smooth helicopter ride. It was really surreal, and it was a special moment, but we're excited now to have our feet on the ground and start doing the things that we really want to do, and that's assembling this team and getting this team together and then get the preparation going here in the early August.
Now, was that your first helicopter ride ever?
That was my first, and I'm from Myrtle Beach, right? They've got those helicopters going all the time, but that was my first helicopter ride, and it was a real special one.
You want to do another one? Maybe that's a normal thing going into games. They drop you on the copter?
Absolutely. I would love to get dropped off anywhere and potentially Williams-Brice before the first game. That was pretty cool going over Williams-Brice and seeing that stadium. And, we were fortunate we were staying over there the last couple weeks and seeing that project go up, man. What an unbelievable thing they got going on over there. That stadium is going to be rocking here pretty soon, and we're fired up to watch Gamecock football this fall.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Look forward to having you back on real soon. Welcome to Columbia to you and the whole family, and appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate your time, Coach. Thanks.
All right, Jay, Terry, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. That is Gamecock head baseball coach Kevin Schnall. Good stuff. So good. No nightmares.
No nightmares.
That's good.
He'd even do more helicopter rides. How cool is that?
That's good. All right. Lots to do here on the program. We appreciate Coach Schnall's time. You're listening to the Postgame Show. Integrated Media ready to help you watch all of the football you want to watch this fall better than ever, or whatever sports you want to watch. Maybe you're a golf fan, baseball fan. Hey, the big leagues have the postseason coming up soon enough. Whatever it is, maybe your favorite movies. Do it all better with Integrated Media. And not only home theater, right? Home technology is what they can help you specialize in, too. A lot of smart home things that they do for you, integrating, literally, your thermostat, your lighting, your security system, and your home theater all onto one app. You control it. As long as you got a Wi-Fi connection, bang, you're in, and they can get it done for you. You want an outdoor home theater system to enjoy our beautiful fall weather? They can do that for you, too, with equipment meant to be outside all the time. You don't have to worry about it. You get it hooked up, boom, you just watch and enjoy. That's it. 803-948-8327. The best in home technology. My friends at Integrated Media. All right, welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you on this Wednesday. It's Wednesday, not Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Schnall knew the date.
He did.
And the day.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad somebody needs to.
Yeah,
I don't need to. Again, it's a day that ends in Y.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters.
Good job by you.
Thank you. Do what I can. Do what I can. Now, it was fun to talk to Kevin. We appreciate his time.
Yeah.
And listen, we probably could have gone for an hour, but
Sure.
And we'll get him again here soon enough, I assure you. But you know, you can hear in there. I'm glad we asked. I think a couple of things. I loved his answer to you about when did you know, and maybe it wasn't hey, it was 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday kind of a thing, but I did like that as it became something with him involved, that he said to you, you know, I told my wife, if we get offered this job, we have to take it.
Right. And I think it's interesting once he had the face-to-face conversations, right? And they, like he said, opened up the notebook, so to speak. He cracked open okay, here's Carolina baseball. Here's our vision. Here's what we're going to do from a resource perspective and a support perspective for you, and blah, blah, blah. And he walked away from that meeting going, oh, we got to take this job.
Well, and I think, too, and Carolina fans, I think, should be very encouraged by this. And it's not to say that other coaches haven't thought this way, because I think they probably have. I think most of them probably have, and I'm just going to say it like that. Development is crucial. You know, for every Christian Walker or Justin Smoke that Ray Tanner had, you know, you had a guy like Scott Wingo, or even a diamond in the rough like Jackie Bradley. You know, Jackie was not highly recruited. They in fact, I've heard the story from Coach Tanner and Coach Holbrook that I think they were going to see somebody else, and they're like, who's the Bradley kid?
Yeah, look at him.
Why is, and like, you know, who's recruiting him?
Yeah.
Not very many people. Well, why? You know, and look at what Jackie became, right? But you developed him. And so, again, for as many naturally talented kids as you might be able to get at South Carolina, especially in baseball, you have to develop here. You just have to. I mean, South Carolina isn't going to have the recruits that say UCLA get from the greater LA area, or that even Kevin O'Sullivan may get at Florida. You know, you just, and so to hear, and I'm not saying Carolina can't go recruit elite players. And I think those of you who know me well enough and know what I think of Carolina baseball know what I mean. But you still have to bring those kids along. And at Coastal, they've done more of that. That development is in his coaching DNA, if you will. And now you can go and get those more elite players.
Sure. And
I think only enhances what you're going to be able to do. How quickly, I don't know. But in today's world, Terry, I think there are reasons to believe that this program can be on more solid ground more quickly than you might have thought, say, back in April or May.
Right.
I'll say May, when you were back on a 13-game skid, and you're like, gee whiz, what the hell is going on out here?
That was the longest couple months of our lives.
And I don't want to put that on Monty, so maybe we go back to the 21-6 game that ultimately ended the Maneri tenure.
Right.
You know, or whatever, just when you thought, how did it,
Well,
you know, like Bull Durham. What's our record? 8-16. How did we ever win 8?
Right. It was, the whole thing was just, it was awful. And look, with Kevin Schnall, because again, at Coastal, look, that's a hell of a baseball program they've built at Coastal. And right now, right now it is the best baseball program in the state. It's right now better than Clemson, better than South Carolina. And they did it with development. They weren't going out getting 5 stars and 4 stars, Jay, and getting top 50 kids or top 75 kids consistently. Not to say they couldn't pluck
Get the
one or
Bodine
two.
kid.
I mean, so you get them, but what you have to do also is go find
you got
those diamonds in the rough.
Right.
You got to go find it. Like you're going to go look at somebody and all of a sudden see a Jackie Bradley Jr. type and go, that kid's got a skill set I think we can develop into a player, or a pitcher saying, you know, that kid's not being highly recruited because of this reason or that, but what we see in him, if we can tweak his delivery, we might have ourselves a pitcher. Or if we put him in here and get him bigger and stronger and add like 4 or 5 miles an hour of velo on him, we got a pitcher. That's what they did at Coastal. And when you can develop players, Jay, then you move to the next level, a place with more resources to go maybe get those higher rated players, whether high school portal, whatever, but you've already got the developmental piece. And you can develop players you bring into your program. That's the good news with Kevin Schnall and his staff.
Right. And it's not like, and let me make a further point, when you brought in a Christian Walker, it isn't like Christian didn't want to be developed or said, I'm not going to be developed.
He's like, come on, man. You see me?
Then you get to develop Christian Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that. Good stuff from Kevin Schnall. Appreciate his time. Lots more to do on the postgame show. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of our first hour. Coming up next hour, we'll get you caught up on what's going on around the Protect College Sports Act. Ross Dellinger, Ben Portnoy, others that we know and trust following this process. I don't know if it looks any different right now than it did yesterday in terms of the ability to get something voted on before the House and Senate take their August recess starting next week, but we shall see. But I think they could have avoided a lot of this back and forth, but they didn't. We'll get into a few things around Big Ten Media Days for you, too, but we've got some Gamecock basketball news. Real quick, before we have Terry open the vault, we do have our poll question running for about the next hour and a half or so as the Gamecocks are heading into August camp. Which position group are you most concerned about right now? Defensive back, offensive line, running back, tight end. Although we have a lot more votes than we did on yesterday's show, for obvious reasons, Terry, the percentage is roughly the same. I don't remember where we left it yesterday, but right now, offensive line is at 78.5%. 12.8% running back. 4.7% defensive backs, and just 4% tight end. So, based on the math, I'm going to go out on a limb and say offensive line has the bulk of the concern.
Stunning, shocking.
78.
Didn't see that coming.
78.5%.
Look, man, you talk about PTSD. That you just say offensive line to a Gamecock fan, and they wince,
Yeah.
man. They just go, ooh. Last year, my biggest concern was the offensive line. If you asked me the year before, I can't remember that far back, but it probably was the offensive line. It's been such a problem. And the two biggest things that have held back the Shane Beamer era, in my opinion, have been the offensive line and the offensive coordinators for the most part, except Dow.
Yeah.
So hopefully you got that fixed with Kendall Briles because you got a real OC. Now, if you can get the offensive line again, we say it all the time. Say it with me, Jay. Just be solid.
Yeah, just be good. You don't have to be.
Joe Ward had to walk through the door.
Yeah, you don't have to be top 10.
Just be solid.
But you can't be bottom 10.
No. Just be solid. And you have an OC now that knows what's up. And those two things combined hopefully solves your two biggest problems you've had since Shane's been here. Let's hope.
Yeah. And they were pretty close to the bottom. I mean, they were certainly, I think, in the bottom 20.
You went over the numbers the last couple of days.
Well, I know rush yards per game, which isn't an exclusive way to look at it and measure it. But
yards before contact is a great stat, and South Carolina was about a yard before contact.
Total rush yards per game, South Carolina last year was 119th in America.
Yeah, just the whole thing was a mess.
Yeah, be 80th.
Yeah.
And how much different
How about that?
I'm not saying that cures all ills, but but if you were 80th, what does that do?
Yeah, I mean, now you're at least giving your guys some running lanes.
Yeah.
At least maybe
a few more first downs.
I was going to say, maybe you convert a third or fourth and
you keep the ball 3 or 4 more minutes.
And what does that mean? Maybe scoring a few more points and keeping the other team off the field and getting more possessions and limiting their possessions. And,
There you go.
It's all there, man.
All right.
All right, I'll give you a couple of them here.
Okay.
For the vault. This date, 1996, this Olympic sprinter won the 400 meters at the Atlanta Olympics, a world record in the 400. Let's go with that one too. You think that guy won the 400? You were in Atlanta for the Olympics, weren't you?
For the first week, we only saw one day of track. We didn't see the big sprint.
It's the second week typically is track and field.
Yeah, it is.
This guy won the 400. Also a hell of a sprinter at the 200.
That was Michael Johnson.
Yes. This guy.
And those gold shoes.
Those shoes were kind of cool.
I have an amazing story from the first night of track and field. I'll tell it one day, but not today.
Next one. This guy set the long jump record of 27 feet, 10 3/4 inches. That was his 9th gold medal at the time. That tied American Mark Spitz for the most Olympic gold medals. Of course, we know Michael Phelps blew those guys away, but this guy in the long jump got his 9th gold medal.
Carl Lewis.
Yipper, look at you go. All right, final one. Because we ran out of time. This one's classic. This day in 1986, what league won a lawsuit against the NFL and then the jury gave them $1 in damages?
USFL.
Ended the USFL.
Yeah.
Ended the league. They won and they lost their league the same day.
Well, I still think, and that was back, that was really one of the first times I think where Donald Trump became I don't want to say a household name, but remember he owned the New Jersey Generals. And I think that Donald Trump and a couple of the other owners in the USFL at the time believed they were going to follow the blueprint of the ABA.
And the AFL.
Yeah. And that they were going to, like, all the teams wouldn't survive.
But theirs would.
Uh-huh. And they sued for the monopoly thing, and the courts, said, well, and I forget the exact wording of how it went, but, here's your damages.
And here's a buck.
Yeah. And then the NFL said, yeah, we're not expanding.
Yeah, and that ended the USFL.
Yeah.
And that was the play to merge with the NFL, and it didn't work.
So.
But that was today, 1986, my man.
Yeah, USFL was fun for a few years, man.
I enjoyed watching
it was they had some
star players.
They had some dudes.
Mm-hmm.
They had some dudes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which this new whatever.
Yeah, I haven't watched a second. No, thanks.
Hour 2 coming up.
We always talk about the Men's Clinic of South Carolina because, look, it's important to you if you're a guy and you're getting older and you just, stuff's happening that never happened before. And you're sitting there going, what the hell's wrong with me? And we get worried, concerned, whatever, angry, annoyed. Well, just find out what's up. It's very simple. If you're, whether it's sleeping issues, not as strong at the gym, you don't recover from exercise, your intensity, your zest, your vavoom for life in every room is just not the same. You can't remember things like you used to. Whatever it could be, just call 803-875-MENS, the Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Set up a free consultation. Tell them your story. Dr. Dan, the staff will do a testosterone test on you and come back with a plan specifically designed to get you back to feeling like you again. 803-875-MENS, Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Make the call.
Welcome back into the postgame show on a Wednesday. Again, we're clarifying that it's Wednesday throughout the afternoon because I
Just to
screwed
make
it up
sure, because
earlier.
where were you at Thursday?
I was on Thursday. Tomorrow
Sunday.
on the show, by the way, I'm not sure, or maybe at least on the station. I don't know exactly what time. But we will be out at the Birdies with Beamer golf outing, Cobblestone Park in Blythewood. Are they putting us inside this year?
You wish. But you know what I did say? I did tell Jeannie, our promotions guru, I said, Jeannie, make sure we have fans.
Yeah.
I go,
Plural.
because Sweaty J will be making an
Bro,
appearance.
come on. It ain't Sweaty J. It's
I'm
going to be
fine.
97 degrees.
A few years ago, I had my long sleeve shirt on and my jeans.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Hey, we're not on the air, right? I ain't gonna lie to you. I was sitting there about an hour and a half in, and I was like, "What the hell am I doing?"
I don't
remember I
know.
couldn't change because usually I change into some shorts and
You
stuff.
just go
before I
downstairs to the pro shop at that point.
I
man, and
should've,
you buy a
man.
pair of shorts and a
I was
and a shirt.
okay for like the first hour and a half, but that was the day. Remember how hot it was that day too? It was bad.
Well, it's July in South Carolina.
And I was sitting there, and I'm like, and that's back when we were doing the middays.
Yep.
And I was sitting there around between 1:30 and 2 going, my God,
No.
I'm never, ever going. I will sit in my underwear next time, but I will not have a long sleeve shirt and long pants on ever again.
But tomorrow, Coach Beamer is going to drop by and hang out with us. And I guess Bill and Tyler will be there. Mm-hmm. I guess are the mid-morning guys going to?
No, we're not going to.
Okay. I didn't know who was going. So live radio here.
Nah.
They don't
Noon
tell
to
me these
6.
things. I'm not.
So
in
we
charge.
put out emails and stuff for these things you never read, but it's okay.
I didn't see an email. Did I see an email? I'll look. Maybe I can.
Maybe I didn't put you on this one.
Yeah, I think you just told me yesterday during the show what we were doing. I think that's all you've done. So
Maybe I didn't put you on that one. I
don't recall an email. But anyway,
do
we'll
something
be out there tomorrow, and we'll grab some assistant coaches, and then I think it's penciled in, and that's what I would say, penciled in for a 4:15 Shane Beamer press conference. But if we're doing a shotgun start at 12, I could probably hit that.
Possibly.
As long as nobody passes out on the course.
I'll tell you, if everybody plays like Shannon Sharp does, or Sterling
yeah.
Sharp does, he gets in that cart and just goes flying around the course. He gets done in like half the time Sterling does.
And again, in a situation like this, par is your friend, so you're not out there making every shot, and
Right.
it's captain's choice and all these kind of things. So it moves pretty quickly.
Now, typically, Bill represents the station and plays because Gunner's the last golfer left here.
Yeah.
But obviously, he's not ready to go do that. So we don't have anybody in the.
Again, if the program director would let me play, I would go play.
Well,
but I'm told I have to do my job.
Well, here's the problem: if it's a shotgun start at noon, because you haven't been playing in a while.
Oh, I guarantee I could still play better than some of the guys that are out there playing.
But can you make it back by 3?
No.
No, exactly.
And see, Haney and I had to do that once at one of the Spurrier golf outings. And honestly, I'm going to be blunt here. That kind of sucked.
Yeah.
We weren't. I mean, because all of a sudden it was like we were on, I don't know, let's just say 14. And then we just had to quit. I forget who we were playing with that year.
Right,
But
you have
Haney
to
and
stop
I
and go
got
do
in
the
the cart and we're like, yeah, we have to go to work.
Sorry. Yeah, it stinks.
So
your program director's saving you from that kind of angst. You should thank him.
I don't know. I'd like to play at some point.
Well, you can play the front 9.
Yeah, well, that's but they don't want you doing that. They want you if you're on a team
because you're going to be on a team.
Yeah,
right.
you're part of a team.
Now, if it starts earlier like it has in the past, maybe you should go do that.
Yeah, this year they did move. I don't know. I think the football offices, or I think the staff has something to go do tomorrow, so they changed the time to noon.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think it usually starts at 9.
Yeah, like 9, 9:30, 10, something like that. I can't remember.
But anyway, but we're looking forward to that tomorrow. And I will make the long drive to Blythewood.
Yeah, it takes you out of your 5 miles of
It does. It's like 12
life.
miles from my house. But again, I used to be a member when it was called University Club before
you want
I
us
had
to get you a driver to make you feel more comfortable to drive you over there.
You shouldn't ask that question because you know the answer. So you don't ask a question you don't want answered.
I mean,
I'm kidding. I'm not kidding.
Over the years, I've learned, first of all, how much you hate leaving your 5 miles of life.
Yep.
B,
I might go
how
6.
much you hate driving, period.
I might go 6. My kids went to school about 6 miles away. So,
okay, so we go 6?
Yeah, we'll go 6.
But Your hate for driving and your hate for leaving your
driving.
6 miles of comfort.
I hate driving. I want to be Ed McMahon.
What's Morgan Freeman up to? We can drive Miss Daisy Phillips.
I used to love to hear Johnny Carson drove himself to work every day from like Malibu or wherever he lived, right? Mm-hmm. But Ed McMahon had a driver.
Yeah.
Now think about that.
It is funny, isn't it?
Johnny's pulling down 10 times whatever Ed.
Johnny's good with driving.
Maybe 20 times. But Johnny's driving to work every day in L.A. In L.A. But Ed had a driver. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying that you're Johnny or I'm Johnny or you're Ed or I'm Ed. I'm just saying Ed McMahon had a driver.
So you're Ed McMahon. I'd be Johnny.
Yeah, I don't mean look. No, I don't mind. I don't mind driving to work.
Hell, of course you don't. It's 3 minutes.
That's why I live in town, bro. Everything I do, Gamecocks, work, State House. Everything I do is right here. I don't want to live far away.
Well, the funniest thing
then I would be driving all the time.
I won't say the place, but the funny thing is I was talking to you last week and we were looking at a menu for a restaurant and it was out in Irma. I said, dude, we should go there and get something to eat. You're like, I can't go way out there.
That's like 12. I mean, that's like an hour and a half round trip.
You looked at me like
in the middle of the day.
I said, hey, Jay, why don't we?
And it sounds great. I want to go to that place, but I think maybe what we should do is see if they can, bring
it to us.
Uber Eats or DoorDash or something.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll deliver here.
Or I don't know which sales rep works with them.
I do.
Okay. Well, maybe that sales rep could bring us a sandwich.
We'll see. See what we can do. Because God forbid, you go all the way to Irmo from your house here in Columbia.
Well, again, in the middle of the day. I'll
tell you what, why don't you get a hotel? You can drive 6 miles, spend the night, get up the next morning, go there. Maybe 2 nights stay in the hotel.
It would be easier. It would be easier.
I don't want to see you have
There's
to
a lot of things out that way
miles.
that I would like to go do more, but again, it's just between. And you know what? Traffic.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God.
Like you always talk about Malfunction Junction. Well, where I live, I got to go through that way. You can't go around it.
I'd love to see you driving the DMV.
Oh, I've done it.
I know. So I'm saying I'd like to see you driving the DMV.
Well, here's the thing. Once we get there, then I don't. But when I have to, like moving a daughter in and out of college with a car full of stuff, the worst day I ever had driving in my life was my oldest daughter's the day she was moving or coming back home after her first year at the University of Maryland. It was May. There was a classic, East Coast thunderstorm.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It's a weekday. I forget what day, but it's a weekday in the morning in Washington. And the people of Washington, it may as well have been a beautiful Sunday afternoon in April. Mm-hmm. In terms of how they were driving, which was lightning fast.
Oh yeah, flying in between cars.
I've got an SUV chock full of dorm stuff, and y'all, I mean, when I say it was a classic, I mean it was coming down.
Oh yeah,
like in sheets and buckets, and I got the wipers on full blast. Right, people are flying by me, bro.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
DC.
this is wretched.
No, DC it's insane.
So I have driven, and even coming up, you know how it is when you get like around Langley and all that, and coming up from the south side on 95. We did it one time like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, don't you people?
No,
like it's uncanny.
See headlights.
If anybody that thinks Atlanta and Charlotte are bad with traffic, and they are.
Oh, absolutely.
They combine them, and you get Washington.
Because the problem with DC. It's not only the heavy volume of traffic, but they don't know how to drive.
They're all just they're
it's
mad.
A free for all.
Yeah,
because there's no consistency to what they're doing. There's no rhyme or reason. And same thing for my hometown, Baltimore. Baltimore and DC are the worst drivers ever because there's no you go up north, they're all driving like 100 miles an hour in the Northeast. Yeah. Philly, Boston, New York. But you know that, right? Like in Seattle. The nicest, most polite drivers ever. They all drive the speed limit. They're all using turn signals. Everybody's like, oh, you come over. No, you come over. There's no rhyme or reason in the DMV. It's every person for themselves.
Yeah,
you got people from embassies who drive on roads that are covered in dirt and rocks and they're not used to paved. You got regular people from there who have no idea what the hell they're doing. It's insane. It's insane.
Once I get to Washington, if I have to drive, because I'd rather fly into Reagan. But then you park it, and you get on the metro or you get an Uber.
Oh, that's a smart move. I'll tell you the worst thing, and again, fully admitting my hometown's terrible. The worst thing about when you get driving through D.C. is when you see the people with embassy plates.
Right.
Duck and cover.
Just move.
Get the hell out of their way. Because they have no clue what the rules of the road are. They just drive it, man.
I have diplomatic immunity. I will drive as I see fit.
That's exactly
This
what
is
they
fine,
do, man. They're on two wheels like Vin Diesel. They don't care.
Is that stop sign? It's more guideline than rules. It is fine. Anyway, now we will go to the location in Irmo at some point, and we'll make that happen.
We'll sample.
Yeah, we'll
Absolutely.
make that. We'll make that.
Absolutely.
But I'll just let you know that on that particular day, I will not be nearly as prepped for my job because it'll be an hour and a half round trip.
Right. Totally.
So
totally take you out of your vibe.
So there's that. But anyway, coming back around to it, looking forward to talking to Shane, some assistants tomorrow. Maybe we'll pull a few of our media buddies in once they get off the course, and some that won't be out on the course.
Yep, and we'll
see.
be there noon to 6.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
It's always it's fun. It's very fluid, but it's a lot of fun.
It is, and I'm really glad that Shane brought this back. I understand that the man that he took over for didn't like playing golf, and so this was something that went away. And I've said before, the first time that I met Shane Beamer was at the Spurrier golf outing.
Yeah.
Shane played with Mike Morgan and Michael Haney and myself, and we struck up a chat with him that summer, and it's a fun way to meet people, and golf is a great networking tool, regardless. But
I always like it. Because, look, we talked to Shane, and Shane's great with his time, and he pops on with us and things of that nature. But it's great to talk to the coaching staff. I love Clayton. Clayton's great. We get Clayton pretty much every year at this thing, and Clayton's great. And so the position coaches are great as well. Mike Furry, first time we ever talked to Furry was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That man sweats intensity.
Yeah.
And we were just sitting at a golf outing, and he's ready. We're ready to go play on the golf course football. I mean, Mike's ready to roll. This year, I hope we can, and we'll see. We'll try to get Kendall Briles because it'll be the first
I know Kendall is playing. He is one of the coaches. Not all the coaches play. I do know Kendall is playing. So
it'd be nice to hopefully get Kendall.
If we can grab him,
that would be nice.
I don't know.
We haven't had a chance to yip with Kendall.
Yeah, we haven't yet, but I don't know if we'll get that opportunity unless he wants to hang around after.
Well,
Shane
I'll
is
say
done.
this. I say we just we don't give him a choice.
Okay.
It's two of us and one of him, bro.
Sure.
Just saying.
Sure. Well,
you're back in shape.
Yeah. Not sure I'm ready to wrangle football coaches.
You're not ready to wrangle a football coach? I mean, I think you and I. We don't. Well, it might have to be you and I.
We'll see if we could get. Maybe Clayton will help us.
Well, see if Clayton helps us. You don't need you and I.
Coordinator battle.
You see Clayton Fireman carrying Kendall Briles over. You guys want to talk to this dude, right?
Down.
Anyway.
We'll see what happens
tomorrow.
Stay tuned. You never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get. It'll be fun.
You never know. You never know. Anyway, all right, we'll come back on the other side, get you updated on what's going on. And speaking of Washington, the Protect College Sports Act, again, SEC and Big Ten did not hit a deadline today, to no one's real surprise. But what more needs to be done before the SEC and Big Ten get on board and maybe this thing gets to a vote? We'll get you caught up when the postgame show comes back. AAA Heating and Air, ready to keep you and your family nice and comfortable. We were just talking about how hot it is this time of year, but everybody knows that, right? So being prepared is important, and if your system is not prepared to keep you nice and cool inside, then it's time to call 803-677-1500 and let one of the great pros at AAA Heating and Air get into your house and fix it for you. Listen, maybe you got a system that's doing okay, but maybe it's not keeping you quite as cool. Maybe you got a leak. Maybe you're out of coolant. Maybe you got a little something going on with the ductwork or something else that's just not quite right. They can get it fixed for you real fast and get you back up and running. Or maybe you've got a really old system that just isn't cutting it anymore, or a system that is doing well, but also cost too much because it's just not as efficient as newer systems. Whatever the case is, AAA Heating and Air can get you hooked up and ready to go. 803-677-1500. Save time, save money, stay cool with AAA Heating and Air. All right, welcome back in. Postgame show rolling on a Wednesday afternoon. Jay and Terry inside the Herndon Chevy studios. A lot going on in Washington as Senate Commerce Committee staffers and others are doing all they can to tweak the language of the Protect College Sports Act and try to get it not passed, but at least get it to a place where the Southeastern Conference and Big Ten Conference get on board. And I think a lot of people around the country, you know, it depends on your point of view. Look, there's no debate over which two conferences dominate the football landscape. And I don't just mean on the field, but I mean on television too. And let's face it, that's where the money is. So while, a threat of true, and we mentioned this yesterday, a true breakaway is not something that anybody wants. The truth is that if the SEC and the Big Ten were to walk away from the current national structure and do their own thing, they'd be just fine. And they'd take a few more with them. But that's not going to happen.
I'll tell you what, real quick. Tony Petitti commented on the SEC breaking away conversation. You want to hear it real quick?
From yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get that in here, right? This is Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, on the conversation the SEC has had about potentially breaking away.
Yeah, again, I think we addressed this a few minutes ago. I think when I talk to Greg and what they're trying to do, I think there's just incredible effort to get this bill right, and that's all about staying together. Like, getting this bill right is all about staying together in the system we have. I think the second path is going to be, if we can't get the bill, can we come up with a system that improves CSE? And I think all that work is also going to be doing it together. Look, if those things don't happen, I think every league is going to be in the position to say, what are we going to do that's better than what we have now, and do we have to do it ourselves? And again, I think, like, breakaway is just it's a word that creates a lot of emotion. Like, it's not. I've never heard that anybody doesn't want to play anybody else. Like, we want to schedule more good games against that our fans expect. We just got to get to a system that allows us to do that. So I know, like, to be fair, like, after his comments, I know the last couple of days where he addressed it, it seemed like he was sort of pointing out that maybe the reaction to it wasn't quite what he meant.
Again, I saw that yesterday, and I was very glad to hear it. And he's right. This isn't about the Southeastern Conference, to its detractors at least, taking its ball and going home. That's not what's happening here. And it never was. It never, ever was. But because there are a lot of people who have SEC fatigue, they want to paint that narrative their way and say, oh, now the SEC hasn't won a title in 3 years. Look at their – stop.
That's not what this is about. What it's about –
the SEC is doing fine.
No, what it's about is it's simple. And we'll just focus on the SEC because that's, where South Carolina is. If you're the SEC, this isn't about what's happened to you on the field. It's this, ready? You thought you had a deal for a 16-game playoff. Now it's 24. These folks on Capitol Hill are trying to write legislation to preclude you, look at me trying to use a word, from growing anymore if you see fit. They're also trying to, all of a sudden make you share your money with others, which would take away money from you. None of those things are what you're interested in, Jay.
No.
So you got to take a step back and just say, all right, what are our options to continue to grow, prosper, create more streams of revenue? If we want to grow our business, so to speak, what do we do to protect us? Because, again, who's Greg Sankey work for? I always forget this.
Yeah, for the SEC. And to your point, because I saw, and I know this was just on Twitter, and I paraphrase a lot because I'm not going to go back and find the tweet because it was I don't know, last week, maybe it was during the media day thing. But it was something to the effect, Terry, of the SEC is acting like, it was like if a legislature was writing a law, they wouldn't consult the criminals to make the law. And I'm like, okay, sure. If you want to strengthen, laws on murder or assault or whatever, yeah, you're not consulting the criminals. But what the SEC is doing is not criminal.
No, just like
so. I mean, this is it was a bad. I thought, like, yes, you need to consult everybody when you're trying to do this.
Well, right.
It didn't make sense to me that somebody would say that. I was like, you're right, but that's not what's happening here.
About here.
Like, that's a whole different kind of conversation.
Like, and we've all known this. When you're having an argument with your spouse, significant other, whatever, partner, and then all of a sudden they go, yeah, how about 5 years ago when you left the toilet seat?
Yeah, whataboutism? And there's been a ton of that going on, too.
Well, what the hell that to do with that? Has to do nothing with the topic.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And you're right. I think you nail it partly with the SEC fatigue. And look, the SEC brings some of this on themselves because the SEC has no problem puffing their chest. It just means more. We win championships. And you joked yesterday, and I think it would be funny if next year at SEC Media Days, Greg Sankey brings all the trophies up from the 13 titles.
Between the BCS and CFP.
Yeah, all the
bring
trophies.
All those.
And, it would take 15
bring
minutes.
Bring all the College World Series trophies.
Right, exactly.
And, bring Dawn's 3 trophies while you're there.
You get some national championship and basketball trophies.
I mean,
and it's just the idea that.
Is this the road you really want to go down?
Really? You want to do, okay, we can do this.
Because, look, the Big Ten won the big ones last year, but both conferences won 13 national titles last year.
And so it's just the point of, look, the SEC, and they have reason to, but the SEC can be very arrogant in their success. And the fans of the SEC can be very arrogant in their success. And so, yeah, there are people outside the SEC footprint who get tired of hearing the SEC tell you how good the SEC is. And I understand that's where you get some of that fatigue. And again, but it's like the Big Ten. We said this. You won the last 3. You can puff your chest out because you got scoreboard right now.
Yeah.
The SEC had the scoreboard for a long time.
Yeah.
A very long time.
I don't ever recall seeing a CFP trophy at media days.
No, ever. To that point. So for
maybe it's because somebody would steal it.
Well, you know what it is, too? From the SEC, like Greg Sankey and the people at the conference, they carry themselves like this. You know, we don't have to tell you how good we are. Because
right, just look.
We just look. And Greg Sankey even said that. He said that at media days.
And Mike Slive was the same way.
And what would Sankey say? He goes, I can sit up here and go over all of our accomplishments, but you know them. And I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And then he said, and he moved off from it. And that's the way they handle it at the league office. But the fan base in the footprint has no problem bragging about how great this conference is.
Yeah.
So other fans around the country get tired of it and roll their eyes and giggle at some guy who names his kids Bear and Bryant. And then when the SEC finally, and it's not, the SEC hasn't gone in the crapper by any stretch, but they're not.
You can't name your kid Schembeckler.
This is Schembeckler Newman. What the heck is that?
Sorry.
But so it's just like everyone was sitting back waiting for this moment, right? Where the SEC didn't win. And now they get to take their shots, and some of them make 0 sense like that one. Oh, it's like the criminals. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you don't consult the criminals. I'm like,
well, that guy's first name is probably Schembeckler.
well, I don't know if it was a big. I have no idea. But it's just, and again, I wish I could go back and find it, but there's too many tweets in the world, and I'm not gonna. And
Do you think there's anybody with the first name Schembeckler anywhere in the Midwest?
No, but I guarantee you that there were some Ohio State fans through the decades that named their kid either Woody or Hayes.
Oh, sure. They just didn't poison trees,
right?
And go on Paul Feinbaum bragging about it.
No, as far as we know.
As far as we
know.
I will say this. You want to go look for a rivalry outside the SEC that might do that kind of stuff? It'd be Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
They hate each other.
No, that's. I mean, I don't mind that. That's
hey,
okay.
Schembeckler, it's time for dinner. Get on in here. Here's my son Bo and my son Schembeckler. That'd be awful. Think about walking around that life.
would be. I hope.
Well, right now, do you think it's like this? Here's my boy Harbaugh. Which is first name?
No, but there might be a lot more kids named James, although you really wouldn't be able to just reference that to Harbaugh. They might have some Harbaugh. You never know. I bet there's a lot of dogs named Harbaugh.
Yeah, Harbs.
Something like that.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Huh?
I wouldn't name my child Harbaugh either.
No. That's like Schembeckler.
That's a lot to worry about.
I wouldn't name my kid Bear either, but Bryant's okay.
Bryant, yeah, I think Bryant's got. And you know what? If my Hayes, like Woody Hayes, that's a good name.
My kid Woody, my kid Hayes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Unless they're your daughters.
I suppose you could name a girl Hayes and get away with it. Not Woody. I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't go there.
That just would not be good.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's when she kills you in your sleep.
Yeah, you could probably get away with naming a girl Hayes.
Maybe.
I don't know.
How about with Schembeckler? Meet my sweet little girl Schembeckler.
I don't think that would fly.
You don't think?
But you know what? We can dream.
No,
anyway,
it's not a dream. That's a nightmare.
Ross Dellinger says he's got a quote here from a Senate staffer and says, we need an answer. That wasn't a superficial deadline. 9 o'clock this morning is what he means. There's a lot that goes into passing legislation, a lot of work behind the scenes, and it just takes time. The Big Ten and SEC have been in the loop throughout the entire process. They're familiar with the bill text and the changes we've discussed. That's from a Senate staffer to Ross Dellinger. Sure, they're familiar with the changes you've discussed. That's just it, though. You've discussed them. Mm-hmm. Have you given them a copy of the bill? Our buddy Ben Portnoy in the last hour has put out that Tony Petitti has said in Chicago at Big Ten Media Days that they are expecting that this afternoon. So once the conferences get it, then they can meet again with their 34 presidents and chancellors, and Greg and Tony can talk with one another and give the Senate some kind of up or down.
Well, that's what you do, because and you nailed it earlier. You got to get to the commissioners of the leagues. They got to get to the presidents of all the schools. that takes a minute.
And then the presidents are going to want to confer.
Sure. You can't just throw out, hey, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah, no, you can't say.
It's just.
We'll keep you updated on that. Come back on the other side. We had a Gamecock basketball announcement yesterday. Got another one today. I think you're going to like it. You're listening to the postgame show. Love telling you about our friends at the British Bulldog Pub and so many great things going on out there. You know, look, I know we're having a little bit of a lull in the sports season. That doesn't mean you can't stop in and get some great food and have a nice pint or two while you're at the Bulldog. Some of the things you can take advantage of, like the loaded London chips from their chip shop menu, melted spicy cheddar, bacon bits, fresh scallions. You can add a little jalapeno punch if you want to, or you can get the chicken curry chips, which are absolutely fantastic. My favorite, the sausage rolls. I got a lot of favorites out there, to be honest with you, but the sausage rolls are, I can eat my weight in them. Baked brie is delicious. Irish egg rolls. Again, the Tower of London burger is absolutely fantastic. If you want to go old school British, you can get corned beef and cabbage. Absolutely fantastic. Terry's had the bangers and mash. He loved them. The beef and cheddar pasty or the chicken, bacon, and leek pasty with the homemade dough. Get it all at the British Bulldog Pub, Bauer Parkway in Harbison. You'll love it.
Few accidents in our first check on the traffic. Bush River Road at I-20, also Hardscrabble Road at Farrow Road. I-20 eastbound at US 1. Park Lane Road at O'Neill Court and Two Notch Road near Sparkleberry Lane. Get back, continue our discussion. Well, Gamecock basketball. Second day in a row. Scheduling news. That's next here on the postgame show on the game.
All right, welcome back in. Postgame show rolling on here on a Wednesday. Jay and Terry with you. Appreciate you being on board. Gamecock basketball yesterday announcing a non-conference matchup with Maryland. Going to take place in Baltimore over the holidays, December 19th, a Saturday. No time for the tip-off yet, but it'll be, again, in downtown Baltimore. First time Carolina has seen the Terps in 21 years, and the first time they've scheduled the Terps since the late 1980s. Again, the time they met in 2005 was during Carolina's run to an NIT championship under Coach Odom back in March of 2005. So it's been a long time since they've done this on purpose, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina took 2 of 3 from Maryland. Again, they had a game in College Park. Maryland won that one. Then a game in Columbia. Carolina won, and then they played in Richmond. Neutral ground.
Exactly halfway between both schools.
Yes. If the other school was in, like, Petersburg.
Right.
I mean, Petersburg may be a little closer to Richmond. I don't know. Anyway. So today we learned that South Carolina going out to Palm Springs in late November, and I love this. They're going to take on Southern California and Arizona State. So you got USC matchups in men's and women's hoops, and Arizona State out of a really good Big 12. Now, check me if I don't. Is Bobby Hurley still?
Nope,
I didn't think so.
No,
I thought he moved on, but
he's gone. Yeah, Bobby Hurley got let go at the end of last year. They brought in the dude Randy Bennett from Santa Clara.
Okay.
Who did a great job at Santa Clara.
Yeah, they should have beaten Kentucky.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch, man. That was tough to watch.
I'm sorry, St. Mary's. I'm sorry, not Santa Clara.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, St. Mary's. I lost my mind there for a second.
Well,
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's did not play Kentucky, but Santa Clara, I'll still stand by that. Santa Clara should have.
I won't disagree with you. Yeah, St. Mary's. Randy Bennett. Remember, it was Gonzaga for a while.
Yeah.
And Randy Bennett. St. Mary's was the only.
St. Mary's did a nice job. I hate that Gonzaga's leaving them.
They started getting Gonzaga every now and then.
They did, man. I mean, and that was, and you know, I think that's a classic example of rising tide lifts all boats kind of a thing. Gonzaga, you know, you got to go recruit to say, hey, you know, and get more guys than just Patty Mills, who had a nice run at St. Mary's.
Yeah, I mean, St. Mary's is. I mean, it's been a really good program under Randy Bennett, and you know they've never like gone deep in the NCAA tournament or anything, but they made the tournament multiple times, and they have been 1B to Gonzaga's 1A in the West Coast Conference.
Right.
So I thought that was a pretty solid hire by Arizona State to go get a guy who has won a ton at a place that never won before.
Right.
So that was a good move. And Southern Cal, I believe Eric Musselman. No, he left. I'm sorry. Oh, help me. Oh, Andy, Dunk City.
The Florida Gulf Coast guy?
Yes, and, geez.
I thought he was the one that left, and it was Musselman.
Or did Musselman go to Southern Cal?
Yeah,
because that's right.
Arkansas.
Andy left to go to SMU.
Yeah.
Musselman then left Arkansas to go to Southern Cal.
Yeah. So,
and it hasn't gone the way Musselman thought so far.
Well, you need dudes.
And you know what? Are they going to give him enough? Obviously, they promised him something to come out to Southern Cal, and I don't know if it's been enough, obviously.
They got a big budget.
How much of that's going to Lincoln Riley?
They got a big budget.
Exactly.
John Rothstein is the one who first put this out, by the way, that the matchups for the Acrisure series, that's what it's called in Palm Springs, are out. Here's how the whole thing looks. Arizona State will first, this is like the first round, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how this thing works. But everybody plays twice, it looks like. Arizona State will play LSU. Carolina will play Southern California. And he's got on here USC/South Carolina. That's confusing for some of us, Steve. But I know what he means, which is good. And speaking of SMU, they will play Utah State. Then in the next round, Carolina will play Arizona State. Southern Cal will play Utah State. LSU will play SMU.
There you go.
There'll be a quiz later on those matches.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I like that. I look, we were talking yesterday, what other matchups are you going to have? Well, now there's 5 power conference matchups for you in the non-con. I would imagine that's it.
What did we say 3 days ago? We were saying, man, it would be nice to see South Carolina play some power conference teams. It'd be interesting. And so they get the Maryland game in Baltimore.
Yeah.
You've got, like you said, you already got Clemson. Now you have Arizona State and Southern Cal. So none of those teams are probably going to be in anybody's preseason top 25. But you know what? Those are some good games that later.
They're measuring sticks.
That's what I mean. That later you can look back on and say, that helped us ramp ourselves up for the season because we played tougher competition than usual, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I like a good mix in non-conference and college basketball because I think, yes, I understand playing the cupcake-ish type of teams to get your team feeling confident, to get rhythm, to get guys used to playing together against a squad that's not going to beat you. I get all that. But at some point, you've got to challenge yourself, Jay, before you get to the conference. I really believe
Absolutely. And I always, I say always, but I often will remind people just to kind of further your point, but also flip the coin. The year South Carolina went 15-1 and won the Southeastern Conference, in the non-con that year, in the Carolina Coliseum, they lost to Charleston Southern and UNC Asheville.
Think about that for a minute.
Sometimes you lose. And believe me, I remember being there, and I remember this kid, because I was out of college by then. And I remember this kid in the student section after when they were losing to UNCA, had this look on his face. And I always want to feel like he maybe wasn't from South Carolina, but was in the student section. Mm-hmm. Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Or just kind of, like this look on his face.
Right.
And I will admit, like, damn, South Carolina just lost to UNC Asheville. Like, that's not supposed to happen.
No.
Like, this team might have some trouble.
Might be a long
and the thing is, the year prior, they had finished well, and they'd gone to the NIT. I think maybe the last 8 of the NIT. And I remember they lost a tough game to Alabama to get to New York City. And I think a ball, like, Melvin was driving for a layup or something, and a ball, like, dribbled off his foot, went out of bounds, and, like, and Alabama could run out the clock or something. Like, it was one of those kind of, like, heartbreaking, like, oh, no, kind of losses, So there was a lot of promise that was ultimately, by and large, fulfilled.
Right. I mean,
the
you go
following
15-1
Yeah.
in the SEC. Sometimes you lose games of cupcakes like that, and you're a talented team. Everybody, that's just like you got to get the attitude right? You got to course correct.
Yeah.
And those losses probably course corrected a lot.
They did.
You know what I'm saying?
That team turned well. They were special, which again makes the end of the season that much more difficult. But I don't want to go back down that road. Randy just hit us on Twitter and said, "I didn't have Schembeckler being a word to derail the show today, but it sure happened."
Sure.
I hope we got it back on the rails at least, Randy.
That was one of your top 5. that was a good one, dude. That one totally threw me off because it was so funny. That was a good one. I enjoyed that one.
I do what I can.
Because I got a mental picture of some poor little kid.
Yeah, named Schembeckler.
Yeah. By the way, the whoopings that kid would take. Yeah. Being named Schembeckler.
Come home from school every day.
Well, ready?
What happened, Shem?
Or this, ready? Again, it's a Michigan family. They're living around Ann Arbor. Name the kid Schembeckler. Then dad gets a really great high-paying job in Columbus, Ohio.
Sure.
We're moving.
Didn't change the name.
Poor kid.
What's his middle name? That's the thing.
Poor kid.
Anyway, thank you, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
We do our best to keep it on the rails, but
every now and then. Every now and then.
Sometimes those rails got Crisco on them.
That's right.
All right, we'll come back on the other side. We can get them off the rails again. A little J or nay coming up. Update you on the poll question as well as the postgame show. All right, welcome back in. 12 minutes in front of 5 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. If you missed it, earlier today, Terry and I spoke with new Gamecock baseball coach Kevin Schnall. We'll be re-racking that for you, industry term, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as part of the Gamecock Notebook, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And again, reminder, tomorrow, the afternoon shows, both the halftime show and this particular program, we'll be broadcasting live from the porch out at the clubhouse at Cobblestone Park as Birdies with Beamer takes place. It'll be a 12 o'clock shotgun start for the golf. I know Coach Beamer himself is not playing, but he will be out there overseeing things and driving around and, yelling Noonan at people throughout the afternoon.
That would be good.
But he's going to drop by at some point.
Yep.
After 2, I think, is what we kind of are looking at. Not sure exactly when. I would say somewhere between 2 and like 3:30.
Yeah, somewhere in that window.
In somewhere in there. And then scheduled to have a press conference at 4:15, which we will carry live,
like we always
in
do.
its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
Terry may interrupt it every once in a while with something.
Yeah, I might just yell some random thing out in the middle of just to see if it.
Just to see who's
what
paying attention.
What he says.
But that'll be around 4:15. Usually what happens is everybody comes off the course and, grabs a Gatorade. And then they like to quickly go over who won and get out a few, long drive and things like that. And just again, you're coming off of the course when it's a gajillion degrees. So they don't want to jump right into the presser.
No, give it a little bit of time.
And some of those guys that are covering the presser have been playing golf.
Right.
So.
And then they need to.
Yeah, they need to just, decompress a little bit.
Plus, they've been in the water, getting their ball, in the woods, getting their ball.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're in the water or the woods, you're told you just lost that ball. Let's keep
going, babe.
Yeah, keep on moving.
Going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's quick. That's something Shane learned from Coach Spurrier.
Keep it going.
It's microwave golf.
Let's go.
We're moving.
Let's go.
And again, par is your friend in these things. But we'll be out there
I
all
remember
afternoon.
really quick, a couple years ago when Ben Portnoy was still here.
He's playing tomorrow.
He came in, and he's like 50 shades of like red and pink. And I'm like, Ben, what the hell happened to you?
It's hot out there,
It's like, man.
It's hot out there.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, we'll be out there tomorrow starting at noon.
Yeah, tomorrow's high is hot.
Is that the official?
Yes. Hot. So there you go. All right. You want to do poll results real quick?
Do the poll results.
While you're warming
I'll
those
get
things
the music. You do the poll results.
Well, not really. They aren't final. But as the Gamecocks are heading into August camp, which position group are you most concerned about right now? Not a whole lot has changed since the last time we looked at this, but a little change. 78.3% offensive line, 12.5% running back. But now tight end and DB are tied at 4.6%. So a few more people have been concerned about the tight ends than the last
time. Right,
time.
like at 2% yesterday at this time.
Yeah, so a few more people saying tight end, just maybe to be different. And again, I could have run this poll. I should have done this, and I really should have done this, and just put OL, 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 and OL, and see which one of them won. Yeah.
And then ready none of the above.
Yeah, sure. Just
for fun.
So this has, according to Twitter, 53 minutes left. If you would like to participate, at jphillips1075 is the way to do that. All right, cue the music. Let's do it.
All right, Jay Renee. Trig Skubal got his 1,000th career strikeout today.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about Skubal getting moved to the trade deadline. If you're the Atlanta Braves, it means giving up your 2 top prospects for a rental for 2 months. Do you trade for Trig Skubal knowing he might be a difference maker for Atlanta in the postseason?
I say nay. I'll give you a caveat. Because Alex Anthopoulos has been good about this when he's made trades, and both have been with the Athletics when you got Sean Murphy and when you got Matt Olson. You negotiated with their agent ahead of time on a new deal. Then you made the trade.
Right.
If you could do that with Skubal, then sure. But I don't see Alex Anthopoulos just making a trade and then crossing his fingers that I can make the deal.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't give up, because Atlanta's got 2 top 100 prospects in their system.
Atlanta's finally beginning to refill the coffers.
And to get Skubal, you probably have to give up one of them, even though he's a rental for 2 months.
I think he wants to stay in Detroit, though, man.
No, they say he's going to go be a free agent.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, this season. I think he just wants to.
Oh, the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Well, he wants to stay. Look, the entire American League's in the wild card race.
Yeah.
Because the American League's terrible.
So, I mean, if I'm him, look, I mean, if I can go to a contender, but I think if he wants to be somebody that's testing the market, I wouldn't do it. Now, there are some clubs that will. Mets. Not this year, but and the Mets beat the Braves today, by the way. Yeah. I wouldn't do it with on a wish and a prayer.
Yeah.
But if I got some pretty good feeling that I can get you signed to a 5-year deal, sure. But again, that's what they did when they did it a couple years ago.
Jay Renee, quarterback battles going into training camp at the NFL. If healthy, if these two guys are healthy, which there's no guarantee ever, Michael Penix Jr., Tua Tagovailoa, who would you pick to be your starter? Penix. I just think they've both been banged up. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Tua, God bless him. You and I talked about it before. He's fragile, and I don't mean that. I don't mean that like it's his fault.
Physically, he's one of those guys.
Yeah, he just fragile. He's one of those. He's like Christian Pulisic. Like when he's hurt, he can't play. I don't know why, because some guys can, but it seems like Tua, no matter what.
And getting hurt.
And now it's a back injury.
Back thing in camp.
So it's always something, and he's just always hurt. So I'd go Penix.
Cleveland Browns, Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson. Good luck.
Is there no option C?
That's it, brother.
Well, I guess if I'm looking only at quarterback and nothing else, I got to pick Deshaun there. But there are other things. There's baggage there still.
Yes.
But I don't know that truck stop Jimmy cares anymore.
No. Kirk Cousins, Fernando Mendoza.
Mendoza's going to win that job. But if Kirk has to start for a couple of games, that's fine. But Mendoza's going to win that.
J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray, quick.
Murray.
CHW cabinetry, we have these conversations all the time about Star and the crew do, which is so different is the great customer service, the transparency. And look, nobody's trying to okey doke you. No one's trying to pull something over on you. It's just total transparency when you deal with CHW cabinetry. From beginning to end, they will give you photorealistic renderings to give you the pure, clear picture of what's going on, whether you're getting cabinet work or accessories done inside or outside of the home. And they will hold your hand through the process. Make sure this is something done within your budget to your satisfaction. And if there is something off, they'll make sure it gets fixed. Again, total transparency, photorealistic renderings. Give the folks a call at CHW Cabinetry, 803-520-6837. Again, 803-520-6837. Just set up a little meeting. Sit down, have a talk. Tell them what you're looking to do, how much dough you have to do it. They'll make it happen for you at CHW Cabinetry, 803-520-6837. Few accidents still happening. Still clearing up Bush River Road at I-20. Also, Hard Scrabble Road at Faro. I-20 eastbound US 1 also still trying to get that cleared up, as at Park Lane Road at O'Neill Court and Two Notch Road at Sparkleberry Lane. Obviously, Malfunction Junction still malfunctioning like usual. And we have our typical construction spots around the Midlands. Again, let the little lady in your phone tell you ways to get around it. We'll pop back in here. Get you started with the 5 o'clock news, sponsored by our Buds Integrated Media here on the Postgame Show. Jay and Terry on the game.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. It's also the final hour of the postgame show. Alongside Terry Ford, I'm Jay Phillips. We start in Washington, where, according to USA Today's John Bryce, major concessions were written into the Protect College Sports Act last night. But the SEC and the Big Ten have still not given their full approval to this vote or this bill. Congress will be in session through next Friday, but then we'll be away for nearly 5 weeks. A Senate Commerce Committee aide talked to USA Today and said, quote, major concessions were made overnight. With every passing minute, though, odds are slimmer that we can move the bill before the August recess. An aide continued that, quote, there is a definite feeling that the Big Ten and SEC are continuing to move the goalposts, and time is ticking. That's not a joke. There is a non-zero chance, a small chance, but not a 0% chance that the Senate could go to recess early. The ball is really, really in the SEC and Big Ten's court. I understand they need to say, hey, we support this. There's a few details to work out, but otherwise, that would be a tough position to plan, end quote. Some are calling this a setback, but I suppose that's one way to look at it, Terry. I look at it like this. You've got 34 schools here. Most of them are big state U's, and many of them are very prominent big state U's, and they all pull in a lot of money. They all have big alumni bases, with the exceptions perhaps of, say, Vandy and Northwestern, which actually do have quite deep pockets and big endowments. And you just can't go, and I hate to say it this way, but you can't just trust that a politician or a politician's top assistant looks at you without showing you the actual draft of the language and says, no, it's in there. No. Right. What you want is fine. And for those who say, why did the SEC and Big Ten get to say so much about this? Well, we had this conversation earlier, and I think it bears repeating. These are your two biggest stakeholders. These are, without question, the conferences whose members drive television ratings in the two big sports. Now, there are exceptions for basketball with Duke and Gonzaga and the Big East and things like that. So, it's not a blanket that you throw over it. But nevertheless, and certainly, let's face it, y'all, with the exception of the tournament where people care about the men's basketball tournament. But that's going to make gobs and gobs of money no matter who's playing in it. Otherwise, with football in the regular season, these are matchups that involve Big Ten and SEC schools, whether they see each other or not. There's only a couple of those this year until you get to playoffs and bowl games. But we've shown it, in the top 100 games over the last couple of seasons. It's not even close. It's just not even close. And so these schools and these conferences want to have a say in how the future is going to look. And when you write a bill that is restrictive to their growth Or is, and again, I hesitate, so I won't use the word punishing, but intentionally limits what they can do because of what they've done.
Right.
It feels like a punishment of sorts, or at least it could be described that way. And this is what happens because you have someone like Cody Campbell of Texas Tech not authoring the bill because he's not in the Senate. But he's on this commission, and he's got the ear of Ted Cruz.
Oh, he's got the wallet of Ted Cruz.
And that, too.
Okay, so he might not have authored it, but if we ran the CSI blue light over the bill, you know his fingerprints we'd see
it's all over it. He's all over it.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, there's a lot of people who believe that and say your problem right there, Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell, is that you gave Cody Campbell too much initial say, and that Cody was going to do things to make sure that his school and then secondarily his conference and then in a tertiary way the ACC were going to get some things, but the Big Ten and SEC were not. Remember, they had to cut language that said if your conference makes more than $1 billion a year, you can't add members at all. You can't do it. Okay.
And only 2 conferences did that, Jane.
Right.
Who were they?
And they were the Big Ten and the SEC.
Interesting.
And so then the threshold got lowered to where the ACC and Big 12 were also included. That's not what Cody Campbell wanted. And then Cody Campbell is the one who, going back to bowl season, y'all saw his commercials. If everybody pooled their television rights, we'd all make more money. Maybe, maybe not. Again, there's competing theories.
Here's the thing. You would make it in totality.
Yeah.
Right? But then if you're the SEC and Big Ten, yeah, we're making more in totality, but how much are we making?
Right.
Compared to what we're making now by doing our own deals.
Right. And so they're not on board with that.
No, so you could throw a blanket over it and you won't be wrong.
And so then they tried to say, well, it'll be voluntary unless 75%
and then
of the full FBS votes for it. Then it becomes mandatory. Well, the SEC and Big Ten combined for like 74.2%. Or excuse me, like 24.2% or something. So it was just under the threshold.
Right. So there again.
And they did that on purpose.
Sure they did, because who's now going to get limited?
Yeah, the SEC and the Big Ten.
So if you're the SEC and the Big Ten, the things I'm hearing, I'm not really down with.
No,
and I'm not
they
down
never
with your bill.
and they didn't consult them on it. They consulted Cody Campbell,
which is again, like we've said before, if you're going to put a bill together about college athletics, my guess would be you go talk to the biggest power brokers in college athletics.
And it's not that you just say, "We'll give you everything you want," but you can't purposefully write legislation that is restrictive without naming them, but is restrictive in all the parameters that you're building into it.
Because the guy who's telling you what you need to put in the bill wants them restricted because
he can't get in.
On the outside looking in.
Yeah, because he can't get in.
And he wants to try to make it more even. Now, again, you can listen. Look, you can listen to both sides of this, right? You can listen to the ACC and the Big 12, Cody Campbell, whatever, but not then going to the SEC and the Big 10 and saying, okay, what are your thoughts? And then you sit down and try to craft a bill where everybody gets something and everybody also walks away a little annoyed.
They had this whole thing written and then realized, oh, crap. Because, again, whether you think this is real or not, whether you think they're being bullies or not, whatever, it really doesn't matter. When it comes to, again, the nuclear option that we mentioned, you and I, on yesterday's program, the SEC and the Big Ten could push that button. Absolutely. They don't want to, and the odds of it are less than 1%.
Yeah.
But that it is an option is something that people really did look at and go, oh, because if you don't have them, then what do you have? Because at that point, again, they take a few with them, and you've got yourself, it's not a super league. You'd still have the SEC and the Big Ten, but they'd be doing their own thing. And again, you'd be bringing North Carolina and Miami, and like I said yesterday, maybe the 2 Arizonas to get that part of the country. And then you've got the West Coast. At that point, you might even call Stanford and Cal and go, "Y'all want to come be a part?"
Yeah, you're going to add something with it.
I would like to see the University of California part of that kind of a thing. But anyway, and so on that note, by the way, there is another piece of or another bit of language written into this bill that says if it's going to cap membership of the power leagues at 19. Right now, one is at 18. One's at, and the SEC's at 16, and the ACC, if you include Notre Dame minus football, is at 17, and the Big 12's at 16 right now. So, you could add a few here and there, but if you want to join and you're within that structure, you have to go independent for 5 school years.
No one's going to do that.
And I thought, I read a piece today, who could afford to do that right now? And the answer is very few schools.
I mean, let's say you brought up Miami yesterday. All right, let's throw this out there. Okay, how much money you're getting? What, $40 million roughly from your $35 million from your ACC TV deal?
Yeah, give or take.
So you're going to walk away and be independent and leave $35 to $40 million on the table.
What you'd have to do, and this is where the article was I thought kind of savvy. What football schools could negotiate a 5-year independent contract?
Right.
Now, Notre Dame's already doing it, so they don't count.
Mm-hmm.
But Miami could do it.
They possibly could, but you've got to have a plan together if you're going to walk away.
You'd have to do it. But
you're leaving between $150 and $200 million if you add up 5 years at $35 to $40 million. You better have a bleeping good plan in place to supplement your income. Or you better be like SMU and got to have a lot of rich folks
and really, it's not just the plan has to include 5 years of scheduling as an independent, and that's easier said than done.
It's not easy.
No. If everybody, but now if you want, if your new league, if you will, is looking out for you, hey, I need some of y'all. Like, hey, South Carolina, remember those 2 games y'all canceled? I need them back.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, here's a little extra.
Remember the one school that did this for a little bit and then got into a power league was BYU, because again they've got deep pockets.
Right.
So, but the problem with that is it's like, okay, if you're going to go independent, you're BYU and you're trying to get to the Big Ten or the SEC, I don't think it happens. But my point is, there's a very deep pocketed school who could afford 5 years, and scheduling's always a bear. But there's not that many that are going to be able to go out there for 5 years and walk away from $150 and $200 million to try to get to the SEC or the Big Ten.
That's tough.
And then you're asking the SEC and Big Ten to wait 5 years for you.
They might wait. Yeah, the waiting
Depending
part might be they'll wait. Yeah, sure, we'll wait for you.
But we can say that.
Yeah,
we ain't putting nothing in writing. We can say
it'd have to be that too. So again. Will that stay? I don't know. I don't know. And again, look, even if all this stuff gets through the Senate, it's still got to pass the House. But anyway, the SEC and Big Ten expecting to get the actual draft at some point today. They have not as of yet. Again, I just checked again just to see some of the guys that are following this, like our buddy Ben Portnoy, again, Ross Dellinger and some others that are following this very closely. And I've not seen that they've gotten this yet. And it's now after 5 o'clock, East Coast time. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know either.
But maybe tomorrow we have news on this. We shall see. In the meantime, a couple of notes for you as we continue our drive around our integrated media headlines of the day. Let's see. David Ornstein of The Athletic and Paul Tenorio of The Athletic reporting that a deal between USA Soccer and Mauricio Pochettino for him to continue as head coach is close, but not done. His contract expired at the end of the World Cup. Andres Cantor, the great play-by-play man, Andres Cantor, first reported this last night that a deal was close. He's Argentinian, like Pochettino. So Pochettino said last week, right now it's about resting a little bit to think, have conversations with the Federation to see what the decision is. I'm happy. We've built a very good relationship.
There you go.
He's pulling down $6 million and change.
That's a good relationship. I'd like to have a relationship like that.
If they were to sign him, he'd be around until 2030. One more note on college football as we continue our headlines. Tony Petitti today, in Heather Dinich's words, doubled down on the Big Ten's push for a 24-school playoff. He says the Big Ten can still eliminate its conference championship game in time for the new format to begin next year. He said the faster it goes, the easier it will be. There's some things you have to unwind, no doubt about that. I think we're committed to doing that. So, again, they would be okay with doing away with their championship game. It isn't as big a deal up that way as the SEC championship game is. But I'll be honest, when the man who's won, 4 of them, Kirby Smart, and 2 in a row here, says, hey, I love that game, and I love winning the SEC. But I'll say goodbye to it. And Kirby reiterated that last week. So might we see these games?
How many others would agree with Kirby?
I think
Does the league office agree with Kirby? Because again, this is a financial thing. This isn't about tradition and holding the trophy.
Again, I think we've talked about it a bunch.
At least
That's
$50 million,
That's
man.
the thing. Find that number, and maybe it's all okay. Finally, the Atlanta Braves playing a doubleheader today in Queens. They lost 3-2 to the New York Mets, and we'll play again tonight at 7:00. See who's the pitching matchup this afternoon or tonight. Chris Sale will go for the Braves. He is 11-6 with a 2.19. Christian Scott goes for the Mets. He is 3-2 with a 3.13.
What's that team they're playing?
Mets. Speaking of baseball, we'll come back on the other side. Kevin Schnall joined Terry and me to discuss all the things that are going on with his new program here in Columbia. We'll get you that as part of the game cut notebook. No talk of the Mets when we come back. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you here on a Wednesday afternoon. Kevin Schnall coming up in just a second. I want to give a shout out to our very, 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 very good friend, Michael Haney. Mm-hmm. Did you hear what happened to Michael?
No.
Michael somehow last week tore both of his quad muscles at the same time.
That's impressive.
I don't know.
Get both?
I don't know how he did it. He doesn't know how he did it, but he did it. And he's had to have surgery. He's come out of surgery. Mama Haney is up there with him in Music City, and he's doing all right. He sent me a picture of himself doing a few things pre and post.
Okay.
And because I love him like a brother, I said, I hope you get better as soon as possible, because I want to rag on you for doing this in a way that you just shouldn't have been able to
now,
do.
Does he not know, or does he not know? You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, well, I think he doesn't know. But here's the thing. He's got, like, his new album comes out on Friday. So he's been planning all these things, man.
He pops both quads.
Yeah.
Was he doing some sort of physical activity?
Yeah, but he doesn't. I haven't
Was
spoken.
it a legal physical activity?
I don't know. My wife has actually gotten more detail than I have, because I just was like, he did what? He did what?
Yeah,
and she's been talking to his mom, so he's doing well.
Good. Oh, seriously, I'm glad he's okay.
Doing well.
I'm glad he's okay.
He's out of surgery, but I can't wait to, because he deserves for me to pick on him.
We've got to get him on just a rag on him.
Yeah. But his new album comes out Friday. I'll have more details.
We wish him good luck, like always.
Call on Me is the new album. So I'm very excited for him. All at the same time. All right. Kevin Schnall joined us a little bit earlier. We started Kevin off asking him just, hey, how the Schnalls liking life in Columbia?
Well, I guess it's been roughly 6 weeks we've been here, and I think the best way to say it, it's absolutely exceeded our expectations in every way. The feeling is there's no better place, no more exciting place to be than the University of South Carolina right now, and just being here and being around the community, the energy is absolutely real. The passion is unmatched, and just to be a part of it now, you can feel it. And every time we're in the community, every time that we've got a recruit on campus and we're out to eat, you can feel it. And the people have been so welcoming, and we can't thank them enough.
All right, Coach. You've moved a few times in your life for your career, and when any of us move, there's always that one thing we all hate. What's your least favorite thing when you know you got to move? You start rolling your eyes and going, "Oh my God!" What is that?
Well, this move was tough. I just finished my 26th year coaching college baseball. 23 at Coastal Carolina, the place that gave me an opportunity to play Division I baseball. The place that awarded me my college degree, the place that kickstarted my coaching career. But for me, my wife and I had a goal 17 years ago to build a house one day. And 2 years ago, we bought a lot next to her sister, and we both built custom homes. And I give my wife credit. I mean, it's her fingerprints on the whole house, not mine, right? Mm-hmm. All I cared about was where the TV's going to go in the one room. That's it. But ultimately, like, I was a lot more emotionally attached to it than her. And like I said, she's the one who built the whole house. I was attached to that house. It was a goal of ours that we accomplished. We poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that place. And to pull out of that driveway for the last time, that hurt, right? That was a little bit upsetting, but I don't look at last times very often. I look at first times, and honestly, pulling in our new driveway for the first time was awesome, right? and the family is finally here. They got here on Friday, and my wife she's an absolute mule, and I say that in the most complimentary way. She has absolutely dominated the house and is making sure it's become our home now, and I can't wait to go home to it tonight. I've been on the road the last couple of days, so I'll get home tonight, and I know that it's going to look great. So we are fired up to be here. The family's really excited to be here. Our kids are starting a new school, and they got a chance to get over to see the new school, and very complimentary of the new school. Again, welcoming is the best word to use. The new school has been very welcoming, and I know my kids are excited to get into this new journey.
Good stuff. Kevin Schnall with us, Gamecock baseball coach. As you look at the job now, a lot of people, myself included, have called this a rebuild, which is something that maybe just a couple of years ago we would not have thought South Carolina baseball needed. Does Kevin Schnall view this as a rebuild?
We don't call it a rebuild. We're calling it a recharge, re-energize. The bones of this place are special, and I reflect back when I started coaching in 2000, and as you guys know, I mean, that was the heyday. I mean, 2000 to 2012, the legendary Hall of Fame coach Ray Tanner, what the program was during that time, and it was the standard. It was the biggest, the baddest, best program in all of college baseball, 9 super regionals, 6 trips to Omaha, 2 national championships. Founders Park just being in this place now, like I said, the bones are there, and it's a cool situation because we as a staff now have a chance to put our touches on some things now in the stadium and do some things in the hitting facility. The administration has been absolutely awesome throughout this. We've got a new weight room coming in November. Our locker rooms being renovated as we speak. And the whole staff, a big shout out has to go to the facility and our maintenance staff. I feel like they've been here for 30 straight days ever since we've got on campus, and these guys have worked tirelessly to put up shelving and just to do some little things to make the place more efficient for our guys when they return. And the development is the staple of our program. That's why we were so successful at Coastal for all those years, player development, and we're going to do everything possible to ensure that we have everything in line for our players to become the best baseball players they can be. And we want to make sure that the culture is right. The togetherness of our program and our players is so critical. So we need to make sure that the facility is so welcoming that these guys never want to leave, and that's what we want to develop.
Coach Kevin Schnall with us, the new head man for Carolina baseball here on the Postgame show on the game. Coach, you brought some folks with you from Coastal, obviously players and staff, and you had to hit the portal hard, obviously. And today everyone talks about how much harder it is to set culture when the sport, all college athletics has gotten so transient. Tell us, what is the Kevin Schnall culture he is looking to build at South Carolina moving forward?
Well, it starts with 2 words: own it. Own it will be the center of our program. Will shape how we win, how we lose. Your culture is a set of beliefs, and those beliefs drive behaviors. Those behaviors are going to produce results, good or bad. And the culture is what we do, how we do it, and how we operate in your day. And as the head coach, I have to be the culture driver. And I can assure you that we're going to hold our players to a very high standard, and we're going to have very high expectations. And if we're going to hold our players to those standards and those expectations, it starts with me as the head coach, but our entire staff, we have to set the example. We have to model it first, and we have to be relentlessly consistent with upholding our standards first and foremost. But that's what's going to start. Like, the consistency is going to be at an all-time level, and the cornerstone of everything that we do is going to be surrounded by these 3 words: attention to detail. They're going to be the things that will separate us every day. No details too small. Everything matters. We're going to create a heightened awareness where every detail, no matter how minute, will contribute to the bigger picture, and that's been so valuable the past 25 years, 26 years in my coaching career, and so valuable in our success at Coastal Carolina. Like, how were we able to accomplish what we did at Coastal Carolina? We're fighting uphill. We're punching above our weight class. We're really confident in our ability to lift the program, our absolutes, our beliefs, our philosophies from Conway, South Carolina, and drop them here in Columbia and be able to continue to be successful. And one thing I want to make sure that it is known is you're only good as the people that you surround yourself with. And I am so fortunate in Jeremiah and our athletic administration for the support that they have given us to allow us to assemble not a staff that would rival any coaching staff in the entire country, the best coaching staff in the entire country. And the alignment and the synergy of our staff already has been absolutely impeccable, and I'm so fired up to be able to share a dugout with these guys.
That's Gamecock baseball coach Kevin Schnall joining Terry and me earlier. We'll have more from Coach Schnall as part of the drive around the SEC, and that's next.
Okay, more accidents to add to the list. Here we go. Forest Drive at I-77. Also Highway 602 at Barrier Lane. I-20 eastbound at Clemson Road. 77 northbound at 12th Street. Old Orangeburg Road at 2 Notch. Sunset Boulevard at Saluda Springs. 2 Notch again, this time at Brickyard Road. And Wire Road at 2 Notch as well. We'll get back in here, hear more from Kevin Schnall on the postgame show.
All right, welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you here. Drive around the SEC time, but it'll continue our discussion. We do have a couple of SEC things to get to. We'll do it after we finish this up, but continuing our conversation with new Gamecock baseball coach Kevin Schnall. And part two of our Q&A started off with us asking Kevin about what he sees in an expectation level for South Carolina.
This isn't coach speak. This is real life. Is dominate your one-day plans. Keep a microscopic focus. Dominate your one-day plans, and we are going to demand have extremely high expectations, and we're going to demand it out of our players. It's going to be done with a lot of love, sometimes tough love, but ultimately we want to create an environment where winning is a byproduct of doing all the little things very well.
Coach, as we look at your philosophies and your culture as we move forward, a lot is talked about, Schnall ball or small ball or get on base and move runners and, put the ball in play and things of that nature. And you bring in Bill Salento from Wake Forest, who gets on base a lot but also hits home runs. Offensively, what can we expect to see from South Carolina in 2027?
Listen, we want to hit home runs. I mean, Schnall ball is not small ball. We want to be able to create an offense that can win in multiple ways. If we're facing a Friday night arm, if we're playing in a massive park, if we're playing on a rainy day, we're going to try to create a dynamic offense that can win multiple ways. If a team isn't going to be prepared to hold on the running game and control the running game, we're going to be able to steal bases. If a team can't handle the inside game, we're going to short game. We're going to try to have run scorers and run producers. We're going to have a lineup that is obsessed with getting on first base. And then, ultimately we're going to be able to do all the little things that matters, because it's all about scoring runs, and that starts with getting guys on base and understanding the value of getting on base, and part of that is also driving up pitch count. But our philosophy and our goal is we want our opponents to walk out of Founders Park thinking to themselves, wow, they just dominated us. The University of South Carolina just dominated us in every facet of the game. Their pitchers attacked the zone. Their pitchers controlled the running game. Defensively, they made unbelievable decisions. They never give you free bases. They make every play. To beat the University of South Carolina, you're going to have to beat them, because they're not going to beat themselves. And how do you do that? I mean, you just every single day at practice, the continual demands at practice every day, the expectations and standards that are set at practice every day. And then it comes back to coaching, and that's the three R's: reviewing, reminding, and repping. We got to continually review things. We got to continue to remind our players what the absolutes are, and then you got to rep it. And we're going to pride ourselves in all of those things. And again, our goal every day is when we play somebody, they walk out of here thinking to themselves, we got to get a lot better if we want to beat a team like that.
Coach, just a personal question real quick about the job and the process. I mean, obviously a long time at Coastal, playing, coaching, and then all of a sudden this opportunity comes up at South Carolina. Was it one of those things where the minute this came open and things started evolving, you were like, yes, I want to be in the mix for this job? Where there was a moment where the light bulb went on and said, yeah, that job is just too good to pass up? How did that go through your mind? Because, again, you were leaving a place that was near and dear to your heart.
Well, the good thing about the whole process was I had a great job at a place that I loved, at a place that my family loved and was very comfortable at. So when we had the initial conversation, it was very easy, if you will, because, again, I knew I had a great job. And then when I was able to get face-to-face with Jeremiah and Tyson, and they essentially opened the book, if you will, and explained to me the vision and the commitment, that's when it really hit me. And when I left that meeting, I looked my wife in the eyes and said, if we get offered this job, we have to go. And the competitiveness in you, again, we've been at Coastal for a long time, and we've had to work uphill. And the competitor in us always wanted to try to compete against the best, go nose to nose with the best with equal resources. And now we have that opportunity. And listen, we're at the University of South Carolina, I believe, at the exact perfect time. This place needs a reboot, a re-energize. And again, I'm really excited about the staff that we were able to put together. And the momentum and the excitement is really, really positive right now.
All right, we'll get you out on a couple of fun things, Coach. Real quick, you got the new house. I'm assuming you got a big grill outside somewhere. What is Kevin Schnall? What's the Kevin Schnall grill specialty?
This is the thing about Kevin Schnall. I'm good at one thing, and that's coaching baseball. Everything else, I am subpar. I'm really fortunate to marry a girl that's the best at all of that stuff. But I can watch a burger. I can cook chicken, but that's about the extent. I'm more of a supporter.
Okay.
Like, can I carry it in?
Yeah.
What can I do? Can I get you another piece? Can I get you another piece? Can I clean the grill? I can definitely clean the grill. My go-to would be rather, let's go out to dinner. Let's go out to dinner and let somebody else prepare it.
I got you. And finally, does Kevin Schnall ever wake up screaming in the middle of the night, having a bad dream about being on an aircraft and Cocky is the pilot after your introduction, the last one?
No, that was an awesome introduction. Again, the vision of the athletic department to do that and really to turn the corner and come in and see Founders Park packed the way it was on, a 95-degree evening, and it was actually a very smooth helicopter ride. It was really surreal, and it was a special moment, but we're excited now to have our feet on the ground and start doing the things that we really want to do, and that's assembling this team and getting this team together and then get the preparation going here in the early August.
Now, was that your first helicopter ride ever?
That was my first, and I'm from Myrtle Beach, right? They've got those helicopters going all the time, but that was my first helicopter ride, and it was a real special one.
You want to do another one? Maybe that's a normal thing going into games. They drop you on the copter?
Absolutely. I would love to get dropped off anywhere and potentially Williams-Brice before the first game. That was pretty cool going over Williams-Brice and seeing that stadium. And, we were fortunate we were staying over there the last couple of weeks and seeing that project go up, man. What an unbelievable thing they got going on over there. That stadium is going to be rocking here pretty soon, and we're fired up to watch Gamecock football this fall.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Look forward to having you back on real soon. Welcome to Columbia to you and the whole family, and appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate your time, Coach. Thanks.
All right, Jay, Terry, thanks for having me.
That is Gamecock head baseball coach Kevin Schnall. Good stuff. There you go. All right, full interview with Kevin there. Appreciate his time. And, helicopters every day?
Yeah, man.
Why not, man?
Every game, just helicopter him in.
Yeah. He's right about Williams-Brice. It is going to look cool. But no, listen, he was great with us, and we appreciate that. We'll get him on again here soon because Terry and I said we could have gone. That was almost 20 minutes. We could have gone an hour easy and still not covered everything that we'd like to get into. But we'll start doing this as best we can on a more regular basis with Kevin. But good stuff. I like going out.
Yeah, me too.
I like going out.
Me too.
And my wife's from Horry County, so eventually we'll swap some stories of. I've spent quite a good chunk of my life in Horry.
I bet you have.
We'll share. We'll share some of those things too. All right, we'll hit a break here. I got a couple of things to get to from the SEC, and our buddy Ben Portnoy does have a small update on what's going on in Washington with the Protect College Sports Act. So we'll do that next. All right, welcome back in. Let me cram a few things into the final few minutes before we get to Jay versus the internet. First off, our buddy Ben Portnoy, Sports Business Journal, who we will see tomorrow. He's playing at Coach Beamer's golf outing. Has spoken with Tony Petitti and says the league has received some language back from lawmakers. Petitti, quote, "We've got lawyers looking at stuff. I will say one thing about us. I know there was a lot of conversation about the ball being in our court and reacting. We can only react when we get something to read. I can't rely on the conversations. They're positive and they're helpful. But like I said, this is something we're going to have to live with. It's got to be in writing before we can actually evaluate. Our leadership has been very clear. We need to see the language," end quote, from Tony Petitti. That was within the last hour or so, so we appreciate Ben putting that out there for us. I mean, spot on, Terry, 100%. And why anybody, again, not to be overly cynical here or flippant, but you can't rely on a conversation on the phone, via text, in the lobbies of Congress with somebody and say, oh, well, they told me it was in the bill.
I was going to say, typically, you need things in writing.
Yeah, I want to show me the bill.
Yeah.
Is it in the bill? Cool. Show me the bill. Like again, I don't want. I'm not. Ronald Reagan had his saying, "Trust but verify." Mm-hmm. All right, cool. It's in the bill. Good. Where's the bill?
Yeah, give me something in writing that
show me the bill.
Don't tell me something, because guess what? If you tell me, I've got no proof of anything, and if I say, okay, let's do it, and then things start going through, and then all of a sudden see writing later.
Yeah.
It just comes off. It just comes off swarming.
Yeah. Well, y'all told me it was so and so, and what we said was, nah. Show me.
Ready? Then they're going to say, well, it's not in writing.
Yeah. Show me what's in writing. Drive around the SEC note for you. Arian Carter, Tennessee's starting linebacker, suspended for the first 2 games of the year. This after he accepted a $427 flight from an agent back in the offseason. Initially, Arian had declared for the draft.
Right.
But he got hurt during the lead-up process and actually said, okay, I'm pulling out of the draft. And he did so in time to come back to school. But he had already accepted the $400 plane ticket. Now, once he came back to school, he immediately repaid the $427 plane ticket.
That means we're good, right?
$427, y'all. The NCAA actually suspended him for 3 games. Tennessee appealed, and they got the 3rd game lifted. So he's going to – now, the good news, he is going to miss 1 good game. The other 2 don't matter in terms of needing him to win or lose. One's against Furman, and the other's against Kennesaw State. So they're going to win those. But in the middle of those, they go to Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. And that should be a good game. And he will likely be missed in that one. This is just – I'm sorry.
It's ridiculous.
This is just in a day and age of what we're trying to go through in the NCAA. And Terry, I told you this in our meeting today, and I'm going to give you props again. You've got to. I know you're not the only one that uses this, but you say it a lot. Read the room. Mm-hmm. Hey, NCAA, with all that's going on right now, read the room. This was not under the table.
No.
This was not nefarious.
Nope.
This was not intended to thumb a player's nose at you and your rule book.
Right.
He thought he was going to be going to the draft because he's good enough, but then he got hurt. Mm-hmm. And it's a $427 flight. Right. He paid it back.
And then, he paid it back. That was what I was going to say. Dude paid back the money.
But they're saying, well, rules are rule. Stop it.
I know.
Read the room.
It goes back to the silliness of Steve Alford doing a calendar. At Boise State, they had butter with the bagels, just all this.
Okay, I told you, McGee Moody's team.
Mickey Moody's
team here in Carolina. They provided cream cheese for the bagels, and that was a violation. It's insane. It's stupid.
It's the dumbest stuff ever.
And again, look, if it was something under the table,
that's different. But again, in this day and age, Jay, nothing's under the table.
And then they're telling you, like, well, we took a game off.
No, it's
just stop.
Silly.
Just stop. But anyway, there's that. And finally, Ole Miss is going to sue Prince Umamielen and Devin Harper for money they say they owe the school after those two guys transferred to Penn State. They're suing Imami Ellen for $550,000 and Harper for $400,000. We'll see where this
Well, I guess real quick is the idea, okay, if you have language in your NIL deal about, you get this money to play for Ole Miss, then you leave Ole Miss. And I don't blame Ole Miss if there's language in this deal. Go get your money back. Like Duke for Mensa. There's got to be, and again, there's the idea, well, how binding are these NILs in court because they're not real contracts, so they're not real employees.
Yeah.
So, again, there's always hoops involved, but if I'm a school and I gave you NIL money to play for me, and I gave you more, and all of a sudden you took off without playing for me,
Especially $500,000.
I'm gonna go back and get my dough,
I want
man.
my $500,000 back.
I'm gonna get my dough, bro. I got no issue with them trying to get their money.
I don't either.
In any way, shape, or form. Man.
We'll see where it goes. All right, real quick, what you got for me?
No, let's see.
If you're going to do Braves Mets, you already know where I'm going.
Where you? All right, Braves Mets. No, we will skip that one.
All right. Go Braves. Split that doubleheader.
We'll take a little gander at the Cubs and the Cardinals in St. Louis. Cubs are sitting in the playoff spot. Cardinals are sniffing. Dustin May, Matthew Boyd, the pitching matchup. The game is in St. Louis, but the Cardinals are minus 109. So
Give me the
favorite.
Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals at home against the hated rival Cubs. And
Hear a number?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll change it. Cardinals are 27-31 at home. Cubs are 31-24 on the road.
Yeah, someone's got to change. Give me the Cardinals. All right, that's it for us. We'll see y'all tomorrow from Cobblestone Park. Later.
As we get older as men, it's just, stuff changes. It's annoying. It's irritating. It's depressing. It's sad. You can't lift like you did at the gym. You can't remember things like you used to. You don't sleep as well as you did. When you do work out, you got to call 911 to get you out of bed, to get you to the bathroom. You don't have that same fire you used to have. Just call the men's clinic and maybe they can help you out, see what's going on. It starts with a free consultation. 803-857-MENS. Make the call. Call Dr. Dan and the staff and say, look, here's what's going on with me. I want to come in and have a talk. You sit down, you tell them your story, they do a testosterone test on you, and they put you in a program specifically designed for you. Just get in touch with the folks at the men's clinic of South Carolina and get back to being you again. All righty, let's check this traffic. Wow, let's check this traffic. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Blossom Street at Devine Street. These are all accidents. Confederate Avenue at Bull Street. Forest Drive at I-77. Highway 602 at Barrier Lane. I-20 eastbound at Clemson Road. I-77 northbound at 12th Street. Leaphart Road at Sunset Boulevard. Old Orangeburg Road at Two Notch. Sunset Boulevard at Saluda Springs. Two Notch at Brickyard. Wine Road at Two Notch. There you go. Maneuver, take your time, try to get around all the issues, and have a safe ride home. Scott Hamilton connecting Carolinas next here on the game.